Good evening, everyone. Welcome. This is the first live stream I've done in about 6 months, and I'm joined by everyone's good buddy, Cass Nichols. Let's bring him on, and we'll.
Top of the evening to you, sir.
In anticipation
it's potty tonight.
St. Patrick's Day, he is
potty.
decked out. Wonderful. What are we doing?
What are you
like that?
do?
Okay. All right. Well, we are going to freeform it tonight. We don't have any particular topics in mind that we want to discuss. And we are instantly joined by Sergio at Huaso HVAC. He says, "Oh, it's a giant leprechaun." In fact, it is. He is the star of the Leprechaun basketball team. Baja Automotive, what's going on? Good to see you. Chris Hasdis, great to see you. Glad you guys could make it.
What's going on, Sergio, Baja, Chris? How's it going? Mid-Atlantic Tools.
Our good buddy Mark from Mid-Atlantic Tools. Mark, if you like a link, let me know. You're welcome to join us.
There's Christian.
Christian, hey, how's it going?
I bet we wouldn't even recognize Christian's voice or the way he looks.
It's been a few months since I've seen him.
I haven't seen him in a while either.
He said a growth spurt, I take it.
Oh, I bet. Everybody's like, "Hey guys, what are y'all doing?"
I hope he's had a. Well, I don't even. What month is it?
March.
So his football season's over, right? Because they were playing in the fall. So yeah. Gearing up till next year, there, Christian.
He's working out and picking up chicks.
Mm-hmm. Does not sound like my junior high or high school career at all.
Nope.
He had two different tracks.
Yep. I can lie about mine. Make it sound a lot better.
Yeah, why not? No one's going to check. Just finished up a 3-hour stream installing a dash on a 07 Legacy. Could you do all that in 3 hours?
I don't know.
Sounds like a challenge.
Is that a Subaru? We're talking about Subarus? Yeah.
All right.
What are we doing here? What are we selling insurance, or what are we doing?
We could. I'm a terrible insurance salesman, though, I think.
Well, I mean, your job is basically sales.
Yes, but not insurance.
I mean, whether you're selling tools or insurance, it's all the same, right?
But my approach to selling tools probably wouldn't work in the insurance world. Like, I show up and go, "Hey, guys, I'm here." And then...
I would buy insurance from you before I'd buy it from pretty much everybody else.
Well, I thank you for that, I think. It's good.
It's good. I don't like the pushy sales tactic. That's how you get uninvited.
The one thing I guarantee you'll not get from me is a pushy sales tactic.
That's the truth. Why we let you come around? If you were pushy, we'd kick you to the curb.
That's pretty much the way I figured the industry goes, and sure enough, it's kind of that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've had a lot of changes going on in the tool truck landscape in East Austin. There has been quite a turnover of some tool guys. Like the Snapon guy went out of business a while ago, and Snapon was filling that role with a corporate guy. Apparently, he's limited in what he can do. He does not have the same latitude that a franchisee would have, so he can't help everybody out the way he wants or the way the customers want. I think the Mako guy went belly up because he made some bad business decisions. So I think he's gone now. Mac doesn't show up very often at all, which leaves pretty much me and a Cornwell guy to handle the bulk of that area. So I'm not complaining, but it's just interesting to see that level of change go on so quickly.
Are we talking like Balm Road, East Austin, or are we talking like east of 35?
East of 30.
White.
It's east of 35, down by the airport, that area.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hey, Don Gilliam, good to see you.
So is the Mac guy, are we talking about my Mac guy?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same one?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He services over there?
Yeah.
He didn't show up because it's too far to drive.
Probably.
It cuts into beer 30 too much. Hey, you know why he gets to come around? He's not pushy.
He's a great guy too. He's just the kind of guy that you like having
Have you ever
around.
met him in person?
Oh
You
yeah.
just only met him on the. You have met him in person?
Oh yeah. No, we
Oh yeah.
spent time on each other's trucks.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. He told me about it. He's the easiest guy in the world to get along with.
He's awesome. Everyone loves him.
Yeah. Yeah. The Snap-on guy, you got to meet this. Have you met the new Snap-on guy yet?
No.
You'd like him. He's easy to get along with as well.
I'm shooting Mark a link right now.
All right.
So he got his link. He'll join us when he can.
You gonna start singing or what?
Why not?
You know you got what are you, a crooner? You gonna do some Andy Williams, some Moon River.
Andy, well, that's my favorite era. Andy, I grew up.
Who's your guy? Who's your favorite one out of that group?
That's a toughie because they're all so good for different reasons. Nat King Cole is untouchable. Frank Sinatra was just fabulous. I really did like Andy Rooney. Andy Rooney. Yeah,
he was great.
Oh my God. Andy Williams, for a lot of reasons. Those are all just a terrific era for music. And I don't know if anyone's a gamer out there, but my stepdaughter turned me on to playing BioShock. And if anyone's familiar at all with that game, it takes place in the 50s. And the ambiance of this game is incredible. They play a lot of music from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. And it has this great look and feel to it. It's been a lot of fun to play that.
Cool.
Baja says he has a going away party last week for his Mac guy. Oh, no more Mac guy in your neck of the woods, huh? How long was he in business for, Baja? I'm trying to understand like what the average length of a tool guy's career is. It seems that there's a lot of guys who aren't in it for very long.
Hey, Brandon, make sure Adam is watching. If you have a way to communicate with Adam, make sure Adam is watching. This is what he was looking for, was the Leprechaun stream.
Oh, okay. Now, if it's not broken, fix it. Says that he's on his 6th Snap-on guy in 7 years.
I tell you what is broke. Whatever they're doing with the Snap-on guys.
Yeah, well, that's the truth. Well, and I think a lot of it too is once, especially in the franchise model, once guys get in and they realize what reality is, a lot of it loses its attractiveness pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Don, you are correct. They are Mayhew's. Mayhew makes the Mako pry bars for them. Hey, fun fact, I was looking into getting some parts for a broken Mako air impact that I was fixing. And in searching for a part, I found a listing on a retailer's website that listed, and they had a whole catalog for parts for Mako air tools that were made by Sonx. I thought that was interesting because I did not know. I knew Sonx had their own brand of air tools. I assumed they were made by somebody else, but maybe Sonx not only makes their own, but maybe they make it for, or they were making for Mako or some other brands. I thought that was pretty interesting. There's a topic for discussion if everyone has other information on that.
There you go.
Yeah. And Brandon says the game was fun. Yeah, well, I tell you, I don't have time to play games. Unfortunately, I do, and it impacts my sleep schedule a lot of times. But yeah, BioShock was a good one.
The reason I don't play video games is staring at me right now, wondering what is going on. You know, you can always watch and on YouTube.
People post their walkthroughs on these games, yeah. Sammy Salinas has joined us tonight. Welcome aboard.
Shannon Dickinson is in the chat. He's like, "Hey there, everyone. Is that your dress for tomorrow?"
Hey, Shannon.
That's good.
Great to see you. Yeah, Sammy's playing Minecraft. I've never played that. My stepdaughter that told me I got to play BioShock is now telling me I have to play Mass Effect. I'm not familiar with it at all.
Christian, have you ever played video games? I don't know that Christian's ever played video games before.
Really?
Maybe a game on his phone. I don't know that he owns like any kind of gaming system.
No.
Christian's never like a inside the house kid. He's always an outside the house kid.
Good. Yeah, that's do that.
You never had to ask Christian twice if he wanted to go outside. He'd be out in the winter with a pair of shorts on and some flip flops, walking around the yard, playing.
When I was that age, I was the same way. I was into sports. I was always outside.
You've been over there plenty of times. The most shirt you've ever seen him wear was a muscle shirt.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, he was overdressed with a muscle shirt on.
What's going on, Pat? How you doing today?
Great to see you, Pat. Thanks for joining.
That's right. He's never owned a video game.
Wow, good for you.
Christian is he likes to be outside. He likes to be out in the shop and stuff. He's not an inside the house kid.
Good. That only works in your favor.
Now he's into working out all the time. Like I said, I haven't seen him in a while, but he looks a lot different.
So,
did you have to go to church or something, Christian? That you're wearing his shirt with sleeves?
What? Yeah, but it doesn't have a collar, does it?
Well, if it does, it means he's going on a date.
Oh, well. All right, let's backtrack a little bit in the comments, talking about the longevity of tool guys. Sergio says that the Mac guy's been around there doing it since mid-2000s at least. Okay, since 2016 for the Snapon guy. Good. Yeah, for the guys who can make it work, it can be a really good career and a lot of fun. But I think there's a lot of guys who struggle with the business aspects of it, which is what I think did in this Matco guy around us, where the story I was told was he went to a Matco show and overspent, and he far exceeded his credit line. Why Matco allowed him to do that, I can't say. So it seems kind of weird, but once you do that and you're that far in over your head, they cut your credit line off and you can't buy anything. So then you just saddle with inventory. Then you have to sell that and nothing else, or
you're constantly on hold.
Constantly. And he can't handle warranties because of the same thing. He can't order stuff, and it's a disaster when you get in that situation. So my understanding was that he's now kind of hurting. And a little birdie told me that payments people were making to Matco Credit through him were not making it to Matco Credit.
That's a good way to run out of business quickly.
That's a tough one. Yeah. Because even if you are in business, you don't want to show back up to those shops anymore.
I mean, you're literally robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Literally, yeah.
And oh my gosh, I can't imagine. I mean, like, you couldn't show your face anywhere.
No, that kind of horrible predicament.
It's theft. I mean, that's the theft. That's not anything else.
It is. I mean, you're entrusted with somebody's financial health and well-being, and you're screwing them. You get yourself in that position, and guys get desperate and they do terrible things, and it's just a rotten place to be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not there. I don't want to comment, but God, it would not be good.
No.
Don Gillum asked, how does Matco handle that? I'm sure that he's going to lose his franchise.
If he hasn't already, yes. Because if you're the customer, make sure you retain your receipts that you made the payments. Because otherwise it's a he said situation.
I bet you Matco's probably going to have to eat part of that.
I'm sure.
Because the person that they allowed to pay to represent the franchise is stealing from people. They're going to have to, it's like one of those deals where you'd rather lose some money and save some face than go and they're like, you still didn't make your payment. They're like, guess what? I'm never buying anything from Matco ever again.
That'll sour people on a brand so fast.
Yeah. And we have Matco. We have Matco now. I haven't had a Matco dealer in like 28 years. And we've got one now.
Well, in your area, it's been very hard for Matco and Cornwell to maintain any kind of presence out there. It's always been Snap-on, and it was Mac because I actually developed the route for Mac 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah.
So it was just me and Kyle. So it was only the two of us. And then as an independent guy, I've been out there, since I got rid of my Mac franchise. So it hasn't enjoyed the same kind of longevity from different brands for some reason. And there's plenty going on in that area. It's not like there's a lack of
I mean,
business.
we have 4 tool trucks come to the shop,
Yeah.
and look, I don't buy a lot of stuff, right? We might get into why here pretty soon, but everybody's got something. So I don't buy Lyle from anybody. You can vouch for that. I've never bought Lyle from you, have I?
No.
Because I get it all because the parts store there in town. I
Yeah.
get it at their cost. Like it's if you want to buy some Lyle, I can hook you up. But no, seriously, I don't buy a Lyle from any of the tool trucks. The reason is I get it cheaper than they can buy it most of the time. It's just the way that the discount works. So,
Yep.
But there's a few things that Matco has that I've bought that I like, and then there's stuff that Lindsay sells that I buy, and we talk about all of my purchases, whether I buy it from him or not.
Sure.
So,
that's just good information to have, and as someone in the business. You like to know what people are preferring, and you like to know why they're choosing to buy from the sources they're buying from, because that helps. So even if everyone, you don't expect anyone to be loyal to you if you're the tool guy. That's just not the way the world works. People are going to buy whatever they want from whomever they want. It's nice to hear why, though, because if that means I need to improve something, change something, find different brands or whatever it is, I'd like to do that. So it's just good information.
No, we don't have a corn mold dealer. We only have Lindsay, Snapon, Mac, and Matco. And Lindsay only comes whenever his truck is repaired.
It just means the truck's at your shop for longer than usual.
Well, there's no more tools going on there. Like it's
that's
not getting any of these pullers. You're not losing anything either. But
nope. It's not getting fuller.
But that all worked out pretty well.
Oh yeah. So the issue that we had was, well, I'll give you everyone the bigger picture here. I've been having a lot of problems with my right foot. I've had a severe case of gout that I can't.
Don't let him lie to you from all that kicking all that ass he's been kicking.
That's what it is.
I don't know why. You got to build it up.
If I hadn't asked,
if you broke your toe walking through the house, you wouldn't tell her. But I tripped over the dog's leash. You'd be like, that's from all that kicking ass I've been doing.
Yeah, everyone knows though. If I had to asses I had to kick, I'd get Christian to do it for me.
It wouldn't be a bad choice. He could probably kick a lot of ass.
I'm sure he would. So I'm
not picking any fights with him.
So I've had this foot problem. It's been keeping me off my feet a lot. And I basically work when the pain allows me to. So I missed the better part of a couple of weeks at one point. And then the doctor gives me a different medication. I get on it. It allows me to at least function a little bit. I get back on the truck, right? And about 2 hours went by. I go to Cass's shop and we do our business. While we're standing up, while we're standing on the truck before Cass leaves, we hear a sound that sounds like metal hitting metal. And we both look at each other and go, well, what was that? We get out, look on the ground, don't see anything. I don't know. Truck's still running fine. I drive away. I get about a mile down the road and I lose my power steering, my brakes, the dash starts lighting up and beeping. I'm like, golly, I lost a belt, right? But now I'm thinking, what was that metal clunking sound I heard? So I wrangle the truck back to Cass's shop and he looks and realizes that I lost an idler pulley. And we don't know.
It's not a regular idler pulley, it's the auxiliary air conditioning. So where are you going to find that one at, Cass? I'm not looking for it, Lindsay. You are. Since you're out of work, you can look for the
right. So we're like, you know what the pulley is, right? So we're looking around, but I'm thinking, man, I know that's what we heard. We heard the pulley hitting something, and I'm betting it's.
You found it sitting in like the bumper or something, right?
No, it was. I don't know what you call it, but it's that cross piece between the two front wheels. It's a C channel.
Yeah, I can't believe that didn't fall off while you're driving down the road.
Fell right in there. It was just cradled in there.
The place where you found the new pulley at, I was even more surprised.
So I thought originally to replace instead of replacing the pulley, which is going to be difficult to find, I just replaced the two bearings because I can find the bearings. Well, I thought I could find the bearings easily enough, but they were like a millimeter or two off the ones that I bought. So they weren't going to work. So I wound up finding a replacement pulley assembly, same brand of the one that was on there, is a Daco, and they had it at Napa. So we got that, and Cass fixed me up and got me back on the road.
Was it? No, that was AutoZone there, bro.
Was it AutoZone?
Yeah, you got the pulley from AutoZone. You said Napa. We got the belt from Napa.
Yes, sorry. Yes, AutoZone. Yeah, because it was a Duralast branded part. It was made by Daco.
I couldn't believe it is the exact pulley.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe you found it. Strange.
It took a lot of searching to find the part number. And the biggest problem I found was people who list this thing for sale don't list the dimensions.
Oh, so I can't doesn't that drive you nuts?
Oh.
I was doing that today. I had a problem at the shop. I was like trying to figure out what was going on. I'm not getting, well, okay. I don't know if I'm gonna tell you what I was working on. Maybe I will. It's a 1993 Chevy G20 sport van.
Oh God.
Little stabbing wagon. Hey, there he is, Adam, Small Town Machine. What's going on, Adam? Is this like your Christmas here?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, clear the air. We are in rare company tonight.
Oh, royalty.
We have joining us from the gem of the Eastern Seaboard.
Gem.
The land of enchantment known as New Jersey.
I thought they called it the smoking room of America.
Mark, don't let him get you down. Mark Distashon from Mid-Atlantic Tools. Thanks for joining us, Mark. How are you?
Okay.
He's on the spinny wheel. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Uh-oh.
Yes?
Yes.
Lindsay, can you hear Cass?
Yes.
I can hear Cass.
Go over Cass.
Yes.
Is Mark spinning on the wheel of doom for you?
No.
Can you see his face?
Yes.
Can you hear his voice?
Yes.
Yes.
I cannot hear Mark at all.
Oh, Cass is in the land technology.
Well, that Cass, he's such an ass. He can't hear me, so.
Yes, that's correct. I'm gonna have to talk to you through you like an intermediary, like a medium. I'm talking to the other side. Can Mark hear me? That's the question.
Yes.
I can't hear him, so you guys have to let me know, Lindsay. Can Mark hear me?
Yes, he can hear you.
He can. I can't hear a thing he's saying.
This is.
He hasn't populated on the screen yet.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Well,
No, I'm just looking at the spinny wheel. Nothing.
No, he's here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hi, Mark. I can't hear you for some reason. I don't know. I think I live under power lines or something.
Could be that.
This would be good. He can ask me anything.
It's probably that hat he's
answer
wearing.
it like a third person.
Well, good to see you. How's everything been treating you, Mark?
Pretty good.
Good.
Speaking of
That's nice
your truck breaking down,
All right, let me try to refresh.
Alternator go.
If I disappear, I'll be right back.
Tires go. Brake caliper go. Water pump go. Pulley go. Let's see what else went on my truck lately. The U joints, or not the U joints. The what are they called? The brackets, basically, that hold your box to your frame.
Oh God. Oh man! Over what period of time have these things been plaguing you?
Last 8 weeks.
Oh my God! Oh
yeah, last 8 weeks.
Man,
so
man,
that's some of it just was maintenance and stuff, but it just happened to. Everything just happens to go all at once.
Yep. And you start to feel like something stacked against you.
Well, I had the same thing that happened to you. I was actually at one of my stops. We're just sitting there talking. And then I hear like this bang, like someone took a 5-pound sledge and dropped it on the floor. And we're just standing in the truck. We're like, what is that noise? So we get out, we go looking all over the truck. We can't find a thing. And I happened to look up, and one of the brackets that hold the box to the frame snapped. So we start looking. I'm like, oh, yeah, I got to replace these.
Wow.
So I drove to my next stop, and one guy's like, "Oh yeah, I got like 10 of those things." He's like, "Here you go," and he handed them to me. So I had the parts. I just had to drive to the other. I went to a different shop because he does like he's not really a truck shop. It's like just for New Jersey Gas is what he works on their vehicles only. So he can't do any outside work. So I drive to my next stop, and the guy's like, "Yeah," hops under there and puts them on real quick, torques them down, and I was good to go.
Good. Wow. That could have been so much worse.
Yeah. And then the other one was I was pulling out of a shop, and I decided there's traffic going both ways. And I was like, well, let me pull a little bit closer. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear and see you.
Wow.
Oh, damn it. Now he can hear me.
I couldn't see or hear you, and Lindsay's like, "Hey, he's talking to you," and I'm getting half
Later
the
on, you have to
conversation.
go back and watch the video. So
I'm just sitting there over there like, yep.
But anyhow, I went to pull out to the road, and there was oncoming traffic, so I cut it a little close, and of course, my right rear tire hits the curb and pops the side right out of it. So while I'm there, I'm getting tires put on. I'm like, and they're like, well, this one here looks a little. I'm like, just do all 6. Just
right. Man.
So we did that. A couple weeks later, I'm at a shop. I hear this banging noise like you did. I'm like, what is that noise? My alternator start going.
Mm.
And that actually, the alternator and the pulley, we found that on the same day. So that was another thing. It's just, there's been one thing after another. But it's, it happens.
It does happen. I mean, when it rains, it pours. And as I'm limping the truck back to Cass's shop, I started thinking, I had a bout of some stuff going wrong with it. I think it was back in August, September, something like that.
Yeah.
So I had this string of, I don't know, 5-6 months where really I haven't had any real problems. So I'm thinking,
I've gone a long time without having any problems.
Yeah.
Because usually I stay on top of everything. It's just, what's the chances? Sometimes it just happens. Things just happen.
Yep.
So, and now like my fuel tank it's weeping. Don't have a drip, but it's weeping. Of course, they don't make them for the truck anymore.
Of course.
So I have one of my customer who's a fabricator. He's building a tank.
Wow.
But good thing is, so far, most of these repairs, the guys are just like, yeah, well, I owe you money, so it really doesn't matter. I'm like, yep. Just put it on.
It's good to be running the tab. All right, let's get caught up in some stuff from the chat in the side. Who haven't we? Oh, Sammy says that Snap-on tools are built with rare earth metals. That's why they're so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Pat Paulson buys all those tools from the back of Marshall's. Small Town Machine Shops on board. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
This is why I'm wearing the leprechaun costume. It's for Adam at Small Town Machine.
Good.
He mentioned it the other day, and I was like, "Oh, look, I'll be an idiot."
DK Roth asks if I've considered picking up the Vim line of tools. I do sell Vim, and I know Mark's a big fan of a lot of their stuff too. They sell mostly specialty stuff, and I have found out more and more about that company over the past year or so because they have a pretty fun YouTube channel, and it's just a couple of guys that just go over tools that they've either had on the market or they're answering questions about them. And they've had one episode where they tell you a lot about the history of the company, and they're kind of a bigger player than I thought they were. So I have a lot of respect for them as a brand. I like a lot of their products. I sell a ton of their wrench extenders and a lot of their specialty tools. But I know, Mark, you've also had
I sell a lot of Vim stuff. I'm always looking to buy Vim stuff.
they've always got something new and interesting. I don't know how.
That was actually that was one of my biggest viewed videos was my Vim video.
Yeah, no doubt.
You gotta start doing videos here pretty soon. So
Yeah, I know. I really should, shouldn't I? It's only been since December.
Hey, I haven't put a video
I'm
out
on
in
a
a
Christmas
while.
break.
Christmas break. Yep, like it comes around once a year.
I was on the Christmas break, and I haven't got off this Christmas break yet.
That's all right.
And I always think about it. I'm like, yeah, I got to do a video. And I have the camera, everything's sitting there in the truck.
Well,
and I get done work and I go home and it's sitting in the truck.
Yeah, I try to do my videos on some weekend evening when I'm got nothing else going on. But being off the road like I haven't been ordering much, so I can't do tool haul videos because I'm not bringing any tools in. I had a couple of repairs in the bench that I finished up. Those videos will go up, but those aren't terribly popular anyway. So I'm just kind of treading water on the YouTube production right now. Don Gilliam asked,
you haven't been out since your truck's been down, or
no, I was out yesterday and Tuesday. But
what about Wednesday?
I was not on the road for most of Wednesday because I had to go see the doctor again for my stupid foot. So I had in the last few months I've had to get lots of MRIs. I had an MRI, lots of doctor's office visits, some medication adjustments to try to stem the pain of this gout, but the gout itself isn't going away. So
I don't think it never goes away, does it?
You can knock down the uric acid crystals that form in your joints. You can dissolve those crystals and you can lower the uric acid levels in your blood. But there's no cure. You can manage it, but I haven't been able to do that. So the medications that they normally would give you for it haven't been working. So I'll go on a round of steroids, which knocks down the pain and the swelling. But the steroid course can only run 6 days. But the gout's still there when the steroids wear off. So I'm right back where I was. So we're just, I got to try. I just had another blood draw today to check the levels of the uric acid. And then I might have to see a rheumatologist. Right now I'm seeing a podiatrist. So it's just more time spent doing that than I've
got to get a helper for the truck. Send them
really.
in.
I mean, it's. Oof.
I have a part-time helper.
Yeah.
Yeah, she helps me whenever she's off from her real job, she comes and rides with me. And let me tell you, those days are the best days.
Yeah,
they're absolutely the best days.
Don, I have never used the Noco jump pack, so I can't tell you.
Mark, do you sell many of the Noco jump packs?
I did, and I've warranted many of the Noco jump boxes. So I've switched now to Top Dot.
Okay.
We use the DSR jump packs, and then I have we have the big ones because I can use it as a standalone battery also instead of just the jump feature.
Yeah.
And then we also have a couple of the Chlor jump packs or the jump and carries, and then I have a Snapon one that's like 10 years old.
Don't what is it? I can't think of the name of it. Schumacher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't they have the little jump packs too? The little ones?
I don't know.
I think they do. I've never known anyone to have them, and I've never sold them.
I've never sold them either, but I heard they're for warranty. It's an over-the-shelf warranty. Hand the guy a new one.
Oh.
I'd have to look into it.
I like that idea because I
like that idea too.
Noco's a repair warranty. I guess Top Don is too. I'm the opposite of you, Mark. I haven't sold the Top Dons, and I have sold the Nocos, but I've never had to take care of a Noco after the sale. They've been pretty reliable.
I've done several of them, especially if they're 55s.
Okay.
55s, I've done a lot of them. Anything else, I haven't. I haven't warranted anything else.
Yeah, we have a pretty mild climate here, so not like New Jersey. It doesn't quite get that cold here.
No.
But the heat will knock some stuff out too.
Well, if it gets really hot, the batteries can expand, I guess. But I haven't seen that happen with these. Brandon wants to sell tools on his website other than the ones he makes. It's if you can find a good supplier that you can be competitive with other online sellers, it's worth it. It's difficult to do that though unless you're buying in large volume, I found. Vim has the best socket rails in the market, but they are spendy. You can say that again. They're beautiful rails. Boy, are they beautiful. But you mean you're paying premium money for that no matter where you buy them. But they are gorgeous. They're these anodized aluminum rails, and they have magnets on the bottom. There's 2 little rows of magnets on the top, and these screw-on posts that you slide in this little T-channel. They're gorgeous, and you can adjust the width of the posts and make them exactly what you want, and the magnet's nice and strong.
The magnet's so strong you don't even need the post.
I mean, that's true. That's true. And you can actually put a rack full of these magnets, on something, and they'll stick. I mean, they're really good. They're beautiful. But boy, you paying a lot of money. And if you want to put, even the small ones, I think are about $30+ a piece. When you get like the short 1/4-inch rails, you get up to the larger 1/2-inch ones, you could be pushing $60 a piece on those things. That's without the posts. You gotta buy the posts separately because they don't ship the posts with the rails. Chalk Gillis gives me a $2 super chat. Thank you, Chalk. I appreciate that.
I saw Pat CB in the comments. Hey, Pat, you won our contest there at Wide Right CFB, but I never got an email, so I didn't know where to send the prize that I still have.
Oh.
So, Pat, if you want your prize, you just have to email me at widerightcfb@gmail.com, and I'll get it mailed out to you.
So congratulations, Pat.
Yeah, I mean, I've only had it for like 5 months. When did football season end? I don't
know. Brandon suggested I cut my foot off and get a peg leg. I know a guy who did that, and his quality of life skyrocketed. He said it was the greatest decision he's ever made.
That's because he started working on Long John Silver's afterwards.
Well, and then he could justify the eye patch, parrot, puffy sleeves.
Yeah.
And Pat says he sold quite a few Nocos with no issues. Yeah. I think generally
speaking,
it
wasn't the 55. Anything with all the 55s I sold were the only ones I warranted.
That's odd. I don't know. Maybe they had a run with maybe they had a problem with a production run or something.
I don't know.
And it might very well be, Pat, that the climate makes a big difference. I have seen.
Isn't Pat? He's up north, isn't he?
He's California.
Oh, I thought he was up north.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
If Brian Stewart joins us tonight, I'd be interested to see if he has any experience with that too, because he is up north. He's up in is it Wisconsin or Minnesota? I can never remember which.
Wisconsin.
He
lives in a town that I couldn't pronounce if we tried. It might be funnier watching me try to pronounce the name of the town. Because he won. He won one of the prizes, I think.
What's it look like? It sounds like
an eclair. I don't remember. It had a lot of vowels next to each other. They had a lot of consonants next to each other, but they weren't like peppered in between. Very confusing for me.
And Baja asked what happened to Monster Tools. Well, they went out of the brand had to go under a few years ago because they were sued by Monster Energy Drink. And although they're in completely different industries, the finding was against Monster Tools. Monster Tools is a brand that was owned by a large tool distributor called ISN. So it was just one of their brands. So what they did was they had to turn on the whole brand, and then they took a lot of the products and moved them into another brand that they own called K-Tool International. So Monster as a brand went away, but a lot of the tools were absorbed into the line. So
they're still there.
They're still there.
I have some Monster stuff still. Wrench extender, roll cart.
Yeah.
A jack. I didn't buy the jack from Lindsay. We traded.
I always had good luck with the Monster jacks, and the K-Tool jacks that I think they became have also been very good. I never had issues with those.
I don't know. It was a good deal. I think I traded you a toolbox, like a smaller tool cabinet for it. You're like, what are you looking to get out of this? I'm like, how about that jack? And you're like, okay.
and we're both happy.
Well, I didn't complain. I don't know that. I think one of the guys that worked with me at another shop owed me money, and that's how he paid me, was with a toolbox.
So in the end, everyone was all right. Everyone got payment somehow.
Yeah. Well, except for him, he didn't get anything.
Oh, well, except for him. There's always somebody on the short end of that deal. But Baja has seen a high warranty rate on Noco boxes that have USB charging in the GBX series. Very interesting. I don't know. I haven't sold the jump box in a while, though.
Yeah, either have I.
I can't remember where we bought ours from. We may have got ours off of Amazon, believe it or not. Nah, they were so cheap you know. You know what happens to jump boxes at shops? You know what everybody does to the jump box? They drive to the parking lot and it falls off. What happens to jump boxes in the shop. Now you understand why I went with the cheaper version or the cheap route.
I think the JNC is probably one of the best jump boxes you can probably get. That's Chlor.
Yeah. Very high quality. Very high quality. I've seen.
You can beat the hell out of them, and they still.
Yeah,
they still work.
The one thing I like about a jump box is being able to turn it on and off, like having a switch, not just having power all the time. Because if you're like driving in a car or something like that, and you got to take that thing with you, you're like, so.
That's probably one of the best jump boxes I sell. It's just unless the guy really wants one of them really small ones, I always try to steer him to the older, larger jump boxes.
Baja says that we should have a showdown video on jump boxes. I have over 10 jump boxes across 5 brands, even the expensive Snapon one. Love the Snapon box. It's too heavy to steal. Yeah, the Chlor ones are heavy too. So are the larger Schumachers. But they have a lot of capacity. And you're able to get a lot of jumps out of one charge. They've been very good. I've never seen quality issues with them. But if people like to save some space and some weight, that's why they might prefer the Noco ones.
Yep.
Because they are smaller and lighter. But they're about the same price per amp of rating on them. They're about the same price.
I don't know. I've never used them, so I can't give you any pros.
Sold any of the Astro Nano Socket Ratchets?
The Nano Socket Ratchets?
Well, you know what the Nano Sockets are, right?
Yeah.
Okay, they make a ratchet for them. That actually, it's a 17 millimeter that fits. The socket fits into the ratchet, almost like a pass through.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
I don't know, 16 inches long, maybe. It's a pretty long ratchet.
Oh, good leverage.
Yeah. It's if you sold any of the Nano sockets, you should definitely get some ratchets.
I do sell those quite a bit, but I haven't looked at those wrenches. I'll check that out. Thanks for the tip. Yeah,
you got to get them in. Because if you sold the sockets, the ratchets, you go look, and they're like, "I'll take it."
Okay. I love those. Stuff that sells itself is always.
Yeah, you bought these sockets? Yeah, look,
I'll take it.
Yeah, and they're not really that expensive at all.
No, their pricing has been very good. People are always surprised when they ask me for the cost on those Nano socket sets. They can't believe how cheap they are. Brandon might be onto something. He says, I think the Schumachers, these are Schumachers, and they could be the shop's fault because they want to leave them on the chargers all the time. It depends, too, on the quality of the current that's going through that line. You can adversely affect stuff that's plugged in. I've seen guys that will lose chargers and batteries because they have it plugged into, say, the same electrical circuit that the air compressor is on. And when that kicks on, it spikes the current, and that can irreparably harm things. And there might be some subtleties like that that affect things like the jump boxes that are plugged into.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah. The Snap-on box for Baja, he uses for parking lot diagnostics and programming. Great for backup. Lasts for over an hour and it's going on 10 years in the original battery. That's pretty impressive because the battery is going to have an end of life to them. But the fact that you're getting 10 years on them, that's saying something.
I've had to send my box in twice. Once they had to do an update where there used to be a button in the back of it that you had to push as part of a series of events to make it a standalone. And then the other time was during the first snowstorm in 21, whenever we had 7 or 10 days below freezing.
Yeah.
The battery was run down, and then it just never really charged back up the way it should have. So I sent it in and got a new battery. But other than that, I've had it for about 10 years, no problems.
All right, show and tell time.
Okay.
Here it is. Let's see if I can get you in here.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, that is pretty
Okay.
nifty.
Oh, with a
So
flex
this is
head.
basically a 17 millimeter end. Now the difference is everyone's going to say, well, I can just use a regular wrench, which you can. But this actually has, I don't know if you can see it. See the spring?
Oh, look at that.
Okay, so when you put the socket through this, it will actually hold it in place because the sockets have little detents on it to lock that in there. And just a flex head. And I'll give you the part number too if you want the part number.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it. It is a 78318. 78318.
Astro.
Yep, here we go.
Oh yeah, thank you. That's very, very clever. I like that.
Yeah, but
We're going to see this on the tools in the hall soon, Lindsay.
it's a good length.
Yeah.
So now I've warranted 3 of them so far.
Okay.
And all 3 guys broke them up doing the same thing. Taking the bolt off of the taking a bolt out for the calipers, the bracket itself, trying to break it loose.
Yeah.
They break the head right here.
Huh.
So it can't take that much force. So what's that? What are they torqued to? 100 foot-pounds or more?
What?
The bracket for the caliber that would
Depends on
to the control, to the upper control, to the
to the knuckle.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about one that has a 17. I think a Toyota would be that. I think a Toyota is somewhere around 115 foot-pounds, something like that.
Okay.
I'd have to look it up, but
so that's what they're breaking, and they're usually Loctited in and all those things.
yeah.
But it's breaking them loose. The first initial yank, they crack the head.
The one that sucks the most is I'm not in New Jersey, so I see something completely different. For us, the one that I hate doing the most is on the GM rear brakes when you have to take the caliper bracket off the rear on a disc brake on the rear, and that some bitch has all that Loctite on there, and you're just like,
yeah, that's how they're
and
that's what they're doing when they're trying to break these things loose. They're cracking this head.
Right
here where this flex joint is.
No, but you can use it when you're using a nano socket. A lot of times, I mean, I can understand, but
it's not that thick either, the socket, but it's the head that breaks, not the socket.
Yeah, but I'm not going to use that setup to take brakes off. I'm going to use that on something that
I think what it is they have plenty. Once you put a socket, if I had a socket, I mean, it only comes out. It's very shallow. So if you have anything in the way, this is a great tool, but some things you just shouldn't be cranking on.
No.
But that's a really good tool.
Good to know. That's
very inexpensive.
That's a nice little kind of specialty tool that if you bundle that together with a socket set like that, that'd be a pretty cool deal.
You can do this tool with a socket set. I think it's 10 to 24, you'd be under $100.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. If you buy it right.
Well, yeah. And that's
Lindsay, you have to buy it right.
yes.
But yes, you can be. Put it this way. For this Ratchet, there's a guy on the internet that, says he's the man to buy stuff from on the internet. I can beat his pricing.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
yes.
Yeah, it's funny when you try to really get good at buying the way we have to in our business, because we're small time operators, so we can't enjoy the volume pricing that you'll see a bigger retailer get. But if you keep your eyes out and you're willing to hold off until good deals come along, you can get some very good deals. And then all of a sudden we're competitive now with certain things.
Yeah.
And that's a good feeling when we can do that.
Well, a lot of times, and all my customers are getting to know this, and I tell them all the time, if you show it to me in print, the deals, I'll either match or beat them. Because, and even online stuff, because what happens is they'll bring me up something on deal. I'm like, okay, I can do that, but you got to pay for it in full, just like you're going to pay that guy.
Right.
Yeah. And most of the time I can beat it because they'll advertise free shipping. It's not really free shipping. They got it rolled into the price.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Shipping's never free. We're always paying for shipping, no matter what. There might not be an additional charge to shipping, but I'll give you an example. Like with my glove situation, now that I have my own branded nitrile gloves now, and I'm able to buy them in such volume that I can afford to sell them at very competitive prices. So I'm selling now. I'm advertising on my site case quantities only. I'm not going to sell an individual box of gloves and ship it.
No,
I'll sell individual boxes on the truck.
Yeah,
but I'm not going to sell individual boxes and ship them to somebody. So if people want to do a mail order, they got to buy a case quantity at least. And I'll ship a case quantity for $150. Now that includes shipping.
Yeah.
Right. And it really depends on where it's going, which dictates how much the shipping costs me. But it's coming out of that $150, whatever that is. Right.
Yes.
So, if it costs me $30 to ship a case to somewhere up in Maine, all right, well then,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. If it costs me $15 to send it to somebody 2 towns away, that's what it is. So you have to, you're playing that game as a shipper, that you're banking on your costs being covered all the time by how much, you don't know, how much your profit. It's going to vary depending on the sale because you're factoring that shipping cost. But it's always there. We're always all paying for shipping.
Yes. Yeah.
Hands-on Mechanicals here. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. It's been a while since we've done a live stream. So this was Cass's suggestion that we get this rolling. I'm glad he did. So it's nice to
yeah,
see
it got me off the couch.
Right? Easy Tech Joe has a question for us. What's your guys' advice for a tech that's thinking about becoming a tool dealer when he's tired of wrenching? Mark, what do you got?
Are you business savvy? Can you handle money?
That's exactly what I was going to say. You have to.
Can you handle money?
Right. And can you manage?
Can you manage the money?
And and can you, because and I don't know what your method is, Mark, but with me, I make a set salary, period. My wife and I get a paycheck every week from our business, and that's what we get to live on. The rest goes to the business. If we have a big week, guess where that money goes? To the business. That's where it has to go. It's because some weeks can be better than others. And we live off of our salary that we get when we cut a check every 2 weeks using our payroll service. That's it.
The money that you collect is not yours.
It is not. A small percentage is yours. But as someone put it to me when I was shopping for my first tool truck, I wasn't even in the business yet. And the guys who are selling these trucks are very happy to give you advice and share their experience. So one guy told me something that has stuck with me. Like I just had the conversation yesterday. He said, "You'll be amazed at how much money comes into your truck and how little of it is for you." And he's right. I mean, a good productive tool truck can do $400,000 to $500,000 a year in business, but
well, I mean that goes not just going into being a tool dealer, but I mean Cass. I mean he has a business. He's same thing.
Yeah,
the money comes in, and it's not his.
I can tell you all about not paying myself. So
yeah, I mean you sometimes you have to go without, but your business always needs to be fed.
Yeah,
always.
Yes, absolutely. You have there's some core things that you have to take care of.
Everybody else has to be paid first.
Yeah, all I would say is if you're going to go into a business, make sure you have enough salary to live off of for a while till the business starts turning a profit.
Yes.
One, and then two, you better get used to the word no, because you're going to have to tell some people no a lot.
Yeah. And you're going to be hurt, and you're going to hear no a lot too. It's not easy to start any business at all, because no matter what you do for a business, no matter what you sell, no matter what your service is, the business aspects are all the same. We all have to deal with suppliers. We all have to pay insurance. We all have to file for taxes. We all have the same business specific functions regardless of what we do. Like we could be talking to an artist who sells paintings or somebody who sells professional services of some kind. We've all got the same concerns. And you have to be able to enjoy conducting business more than you enjoy selling tools, because the tool selling, although it is your business, it's going to be secondary to all the business things that you have to do. And that's very time consuming. So my wife and I have it divided up where she's the one that does most of the phone work. She's dealing with insurance companies and vendors and resolving problems, dealing with UPS, because shipping and receiving become a big thing for you at that point. She's also the one that deals with all the stuff. I mean, you couldn't afford to sit on hold on the phone talking to, say, an insurance rep or trying to resolve a problem with a UPS account while you're on the road on the truck. You can't. So you need somebody to do that. My wife does that. So it's very beneficial for us. She does all our shipping and receiving. She checks in all our inventory. I do all the ordering, but she's the one that checks it all in when it comes in. So you try to find, if you can, somebody to do it with you. A spouse is a really good candidate if they're interested in helping you, but they also have to be really interested in business too, because it's all about business and less about what you do for business.
Yeah.
Oh, Joe wants some decent orange latex gloves at reasonable prices. In fact, I do.
You can always call China as well. I hear they're selling them.
You can wait 90 days for a shipment.
I didn't say they're going to get there soon.
How much do you sell? What is it, 150 a case, Lindsay?
$150 for a case of 1,000 gloves. So you're getting 10 boxes of 100 gloves per case.
Joe, I'll do it for $149.
Oh!
Lindsay'd be like, oh, okay.
No, okay. And Easy Tech Joe asks if we suggest starting out with a franchise or go independent. If you go independent out of the blocks, your learning curve is going to be real steep, because you don't know what you don't know at that point. And you need to figure out everything on your own. If you go with a franchise, they will train you and they will give you a computer system. They'll give you a point of sale system. They give you training. You have a support structure in there. You have people you can call to answer questions you have about tools. But there's a tremendous downside to going with a franchise. And that is if you do sign on board with one with the intent of going independent down the line, and many of us do, just know that you are signing a non-compete agreement with that franchise to say that you will not do exactly what it is you want to do. So you have to play that one very carefully. Mark had to do it. I had to do it. Anyone who had a franchise and got out of it had to do the same thing. So you're kind of making a deal with the devil at that point.
Yeah,
you have to be very careful.
A franchise can be really good, but a franchise contract protects them, not you.
No franchise agreement was ever written to benefit the franchisee.
Yes.
They're always benefiting the franchisor.
Now, going independent, you can get in selling tools very cheap. You can get in tomorrow.
There's
you
no
get
doubt.
in. I mean, I've known guys to start a selling tools, 1 day a week and still have another job until they figure out what's going on. They make a little route and they go out and they do it and that's it. And then they start growing 2 days a week.
Yeah.
So they finally can't do their other job and they have to flip over.
I mean, that's a very intriguing way to do it.
Yeah.
If you can. I mean, it's like starting any business that you haven't worked in before. There's a ton of stuff you don't know. And it's the thing about, I think, especially a tool, when you have a relationship between a tool guy and a technician, they see each other all the time. And you have a certain idea of what the tool business is like based on what you see on the truck. But what you don't see is what happens when he drives away and goes home at night and gets up the next day. And you don't see the problems that he has to resolve. You don't see the people he has to, chase down who owe money. You don't see the panic he has when he doesn't know if he can make his weekly payments to his suppliers or pay himself. And these are the things that you're not going to know unless you do it yourself. The problem is if you do go independent, first off, then you're going to need somebody to help you and you don't have any resources. So then who do you call? What do you do?
Yeah.
You don't have that basis of knowledge, which you need to build that experience. And honestly, if people see you drive up to a shop and you are brand new, wet behind the ears, you don't even understand the business part of it yet, they smell the fear.
They're going to take everything off. You're taking everything off the truck.
They're sharks and you're blood in the water, man. That's just the way it's going to be.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, and Joe says that he's a tool head, so selling tools is not going to serve. It's everything else. Yes, and that's exactly the point that Mark and I are trying to make to you. It's all the other business stuff that you have to get good with and be enthusiastic about, because you're going to see so many tools come and go through your house. You're not going to care about tools much anymore. You care about the business. And you care about putting food on your table and keeping a roof over your head.
If you go with a franchise, you got to remember something about franchises. They have a route to sell you, okay? And if they sell you a route, and let's just say the guy before you went out of business, they're selling you the same used car. So the guy before you had the same route. He went out of business. You get the route. Now the question is, are you going to be able to fix up this route, or are you going to go out of business? They can keep selling the same area over and over and over again. And every time they sell it, they make money.
They're happy to.
Yeah.
They don't care if you're gone in 6 months, because they'll sell the route to somebody else.
Because you bought a $200,000 route, you still owe the money. You still owe everything. So.
Yep. But the upside is you get the support and the help.
Yes.
And that's how you're going to learn, because you have a district manager who's assigned to you to be your go-to guy, and they will help.
As long as you have a good one.
Well, some are very good. When I first started out, my district manager was fantastic, and then he got fired because he was too good.
So it was too good. My district manager was awesome.
Yeah.
Probably the only reason why I stayed a franchisee so long was because of him.
Mm-hmm.
Once he was gone, it was a year later and I was gone.
Yeah. 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 It wasn't long after mine left, and they hired a guy who was a real jerk.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on my way out that door anyway, but that just helped me put an end date to it. Yeah, Baja says that he's trying to help the Snapon guy fix his business. He doesn't understand pricing. Right. He was selling gloves and soap at 250% markup. No one wants to spend $25 for a box of gloves. You're right. And you have to understand what that pricing is. You have to know what your market's going to bear. It's one thing to be insulated in your own little world with blinders on. You say, oh, this tool only cost me $20. I could sell it for $60. Now, wait a minute. What's the next guy selling it for? if you next guy is selling for $40, guess what? You gotta, you have to adjust your pricing to where you're competitive, and you have to know what that is.
Yep.
And that's not easy to do. It's very easy to kind of get lost in that.
I had a guy when I was a franchisee who had 2 toolboxes on his truck. Exactly the same box. One was blue, one was red.
Mm-hmm.
And a customer came on, he wanted the blue box. The blue box was like $5,000. Red box would have been $5,000. But his cost on the red box was cheaper because he bought it on sale.
Mm.
Okay. He couldn't figure out how to give the guy a deal. He's like, well, I spent more for the blue box. I'm like, just switch the numbers. He lost the sale because he couldn't figure out, all right, so yeah, you'll sell it. You won't make as much, but technically when you sell the other box, you'll sell it for the price that you need it, or divide up the 2 prices or whatever you need, add up the net and divide it by 2, you're fine. But he couldn't figure that out. So, I mean, it's small thing. To me, that's like common sense, but some people just don't have a business common sense.
Yeah, I know a guy who was working for a Mac franchisee, so he was operating a truck for him, and a young kid who, again, didn't understand that exact same thing. So he had a toolbox on the truck, and I think, if I remember the numbers right, I could be wrong, the toolbox cost them $5,000, and they put a price of $9,000 on it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you're going to negotiate that. So,
yeah.
So he has this $4,000 profit in there that's going to probably go down. So it was at one of our district meetings when the kid was there, and he asked his boss why he waited for this meeting to ask. I don't know. He said, well, I got this toolbox, and he told us what the numbers were. And he said, I got a guy came on the truck and he wanted to pay me $6,500 in cash. And I said, no, because I know we're asking $9,000 for the box. And we all looked at this kid and said, you just lost that sale, buddy. He's like,
yeah.
what do you mean? I told him I get back to him. I'm like, it's gone. Forget it. Forget it. And sure enough, the guy took his cash and went somewhere else.
Yeah.
You can't, you have to know the good deal from the bad deal. Right. But we're all going to get burned. Like, no matter how long you're in this business for, something's going to burn you. That's not the point, because we're all going to take one on the chin from time to time. But you at least have to know the good deal from the bad deal, because if that's what you're calibrated to, saying no to a deal, I'm going to get $1,500 profit in my hand today. You take that deal. Take the deal. Yeah. I mean, it's.
Yeah, you can get stung 2 birds in a bush.
Oh,
really
yeah. Well, we had a toolbox in our district that was orange and blue or something like that. Orange with blue trim. It was ugly. And it went around from truck to truck to truck to truck. And it ended up on my truck.
Yeah.
And I sold it. And the guys were just like, well, what you sell it for? And I at the time, I can't remember the numbers, but I made $500 cash.
Okay, fine.
And I said, I sold it for X amount. And they're like, oh, you lost money. How did I lose money? You're like, well, the box is worth 10 grand or whatever it might be. You could have made $5 grand, but you only made $500. I said, yeah, but none of you sold it, and I have the $500.
Right.
So who lost money?
You were literally the only one who made money.
I'm the only one who made money. I was happy. The other, it was an ugly box. I was glad it was gone. But
that just shows where people's heads are at. And you have to be okay with.
They get fixed on how much they can make.
Yeah, exactly. And they have this idea of this sale that's right here, and they can't see past it.
Yes.
And I think a lot of guys have made bad deals because of that, where they don't think about the back end. The Mac guy who had my route before I had it as a Mac guy made a deal that put him out of business. All of us have credit lines with our suppliers. And when you're a franchisee, you only have one supplier. It's just a franchise company. So at the time, when I was a Mac guy, I had a $15,000 credit line with Mac. And that was all the money we had to work with to buy our tools. And the guy before me went into a shop where two guys who just started working at the shop that week, apparently they both knew each other. They both got on the truck and they both wanted to buy a scanner that retailed for, I think, $8,000. So they want to buy Mac's big swanky scanner made by Bosch. Now, I think the dealer's cost on those scanners is about $6,000. So he agreed to put on truck accounts for these guys and take from each of them $200 down payment. Scanners come in. This guy's the scanners, and he's got his $400, and he never sees those guys again.
That's it.
Gone, right? If you didn't see that one coming, then you're a fool. Yeah. And as a result, what happened was this. So he sells these scanners that he just spent about $12,000 on out of the $15,000 total credit line that he has available to him. He already had a balance, so he maxed out his credit
That's
line.
it, yeah.
He's got zero money to spend at all with Mac. Yeah. So he can't buy anything. He can't even process warranties. Yeah. So the desperation led him to do a couple of things. Number one, he had to pay down his bill somehow, but he didn't have the money to do it. These scanners cost him so much money, he couldn't even afford to pay the sales tax on the sale he just made on two of them. Because he got to pay the state the sales tax.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. Didn't have the money for it. Because he didn't even collect enough as a down payment to cover the tax. The sales tax on, right? So he now has to start doing this tap dance with all his customers, and he'll lie to them about things like, oh, that's the stuff he orders on back order. I don't know when it's coming in. Guys would ask him for warranty. He'd say, Mac changed their warranty policy. It's no longer covered. Right? He had to make up all this stuff because he couldn't conduct business anymore. Yeah. And it wasn't long after they went out of business because of it, and that's not a surprise. So you have to understand the back end when he sees this sale. I can sell two $8,000. That's a $16,000
sale. Yeah, he was focused on the end.
Right. Yeah, but look at what the liability is that you're taking on by making that sale. Yeah. The way he constructed it, and it's a loser deal. It's way too high risk, and he made a deal that was so bad to put him out of business. Now, I've made bad decisions. We all have, but I've never made a decision so bad that it's going to put me out of business. That's
why we're still here.
Yeah, I'm at least that good.
Yeah. Cass, how many guys come into your shop and like get repairs done and say they'll pay you on Friday for a hamburger today?
It depends.
And has that hamburger ever gone bad?
Every once in a while, you have to go and collect a vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think only once or twice I had to go pick up a car, but not in our current situation. No, we have a secretary. She does a pretty good job of collecting. You know, it's that's the good thing about having people like that. You can just go and get your money pretty quick. So, but not in this business, but the shop. I worked at a shop for 20 plus years, and that shop. We did an estimate one time on a car, and they approved it, and we did all the work. They came back in. They're like, can we make payments? Oh, are you kidding me? And they wanted to make payments on their car. And so the guy I worked for was like, okay, you make payments, and you'll get your car whenever you're done paying for it.
Yeah.
They came up with the cash pretty quick. And I was like, you knew you weren't going to get paid on that deal.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah, you got to be able to see those coming.
Yep. Oh, speaking of the devil, Brian Stewart.
Well, let's get caught up in the chat. Brian Stewart just popped in. Hey, Brian, good to see you. We have a question for you in a minute. Shannon Dickinson, thank you so much for the $5. Appreciate that.
Did you get who was that earlier? Somebody gave you some money earlier.
Shaka
Gillis.
That's who it was.
Yep. And
Joe
Mama's here. Haven't seen you in a while. Been a minute. Good to see you again. And Brian, we had a conversation earlier about Noco jump boxes, and we were wondering how much the climate can affect the longevity of these units. Have you sold them up north where you are, where it's rather cold? And if so, have you seen any like environmental impacts
on warranty?
The longevity of them? Especially on the warranty stuff. So getting back to Easy Tech Joe, yeah, there's so many things to consider. There's so many ways you're going to get burned. Just know that going in that there's a downside to doing business, and that is you're the one holding the bag. But if, like Mark said earlier, there's a reason he and I are still in business is because we're smart enough to know how to avoid putting ourselves in a position that if we're all to go south on us, is it going to put us out of business or is it just a headache for us to deal with? And, if you're good at managing that, like Cass said, you will learn to say no. Someone will come to you, hey man, can you make a deal? No. And I'm happy to tell people why, right? I'm happy to educate people where I can about my business model and why it might be different from, say, the Snapon guy, because their business model is different. And I don't mind, sharing that where I can. There's no secrets really.
Your biggest competitor is going to be the internet.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about it. No doubt. But there's so much. I made a video on starting your business. If you look back to my channel,
I remember that one. I watched that one.
That one, and in the video, I even say I don't mean to be a cop out, but I get so many phone calls and emails about people wanting me to call them and spend time on the phone with them and coach them through getting a business started. I can't do it.
Yeah.
And
unless
I
they're
won't.
paying.
Well, that's the thing too. That's very valuable business knowledge that you have to pay for, and I'm not going to sit there and charge people to do it. Otherwise, you would have to do things like start a franchise, pay the franchise a lot of money, and then go to their school. It is not free knowledge. You have to earn it somehow. So I don't. So I said I'll at least shoot the video. And
you
so
can have like a pyramid. You can have like a pyramid scheme.
It kind of is. I mean, it's really. I mean, it's everyone's got someone to pay above them, and someone's sitting at the top, and it's not you. Joe Mom is asking you, Cass, how's business?
Well, as long as Lindsay keeps driving a truck, we'll keep the doors open.
That sounds fair.
No, it's going really well. We're very busy. We're gonna have a little turnover in the shop coming up, but we'll get caught back up. We have some comers and goers.
Yep.
So it
Every
happens.
job's temporary.
But it was a bummer, but I'm fine with it. I'll be all right. I've talked to Lindsay about it at length. But no, business is doing really good. So I know it wasn't. I didn't have some big good story about business like the stacks of cash I'm sleeping on at night.
Turnover.
I'm happy.
Turnover any job's a big deal.
We haven't missed any payments on any bills. I got a place to go show up to work every day. Not bad.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's some benefits of being your own boss, right? I mean, but at the end of the day, whenever there's plenty of people in here that work for themselves. You'd think I get to make. If I wanted to take a day off, I could, or if I wanted to show up at 9, I could, but you don't.
It's true.
You're there early and you're there late, and you never take a day off.
Well, and the flip side of that is like Mark, when you had your knee operation, right? You could afford to take some time off for that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I've been duking it out with a foot problem that I have not been on the road. I haven't put a full week on the road in the last couple of months, but we're still in business. Right? We're still able to function, and it's important to know your business well enough to know what can it absorb. Where can I afford to take some time if I need to for whatever reason and still operate the business. But Brian nailed it here too. Brian nailed it here. Pay the mothership. Learn how to send the mothership 90% of your income. Yes, that's exactly it. They get your suppliers get most of your money. Period. You will get a small percentage for yourself, but that's the way that's the way it works in almost any business.
Brian's Macco, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Did Brian? Did you go to the expo?
Yep, he did.
Did he?
Yeah. He was talking about it. He was. I think he was in Theo's stream.
Okay.
Or he was in the chat. No, he wasn't stream, but. No, what I was going to say is I finally started taking weekends off because my quality of life was just as important as my bank account. So.
Oh yeah.
That's what I did. But also it helped out because my wife was ready for me to have some days off as well. Because when I worked 105 straight days, I was kind of a prick. So You were there. You saw me. You knew what I was going through.
Yeah, it wears on you fast.
Yeah.
And really depends on your home life too. That's another thing. Getting back to the easy tech joke, really depends on your lifestyle and whether or not you have a family who needs you there a lot, or maybe you have young kids. If your kids are grown and older, it might be far easier for you. Maybe you have a wife who depends on you being there, or as opposed to one that doesn't so much. Or you have a wife who maybe wants to go in on it with you. Great, that can be a really good partnership. But it can also be, it cause some tensions in the marriage if you guys aren't used to working together. So there's all these things to consider that you just got to noodle on it for a while and then have those conversations with your spouse and your family if you have them, and find out, what can they do. And then the reality for them might be different from what they thought. So, 6 months down the line, they might be second guessing their own thoughts. And now what do you do? What do you do when your wife says, I don't think it's working out so good? And you're like, but
I really don't like blending family and business and friends with business. It never
it's not easy. No.
worked out. It's so much easier to tell somebody that you don't really, not that you don't know, because whenever you work with somebody for 12 hours a day, you get to know them pretty well. But it's so much easier to tell somebody you're not related to fuck off than it is, like your wife. You're like, oh yeah, fuck off. By the way, you can have half of everything we don't have anymore.
Right.
But no, but it's just easier, like having a home life and a work life. But work life balance is a really important thing. That's one of the biggest things I've learned over the last, probably 18 to 24 months is, knowing when to actually just shut it down and take that time off and spend it with the family and make it quality time, not just me being here, like being involved. So, because I did the whole 16 hours a day, 105 days in a row. I was like, I'll work my way through this problem, and it's wore me down. But now I take weekends. I have a good time. I took a vacation.
Fancy that. Yeah. I mean, you can, and it feels funny initially when you're doing your own thing.
You feel guilty.
You do.
I had guilt for not being at the shop. Like I was texting like the first couple days, and then they stopped responding to my text, which meant I have a business partner too, and he's the face of the business. So, like whenever somebody walks in the door, they're talking to him. They're not talking to me.
Yeah.
But so I'm like texting him, and he's like, "You're on vacation. Stay on vacation." I was like, "All right, good enough. I'm not gonna say anything else. I'll leave you alone."
You feel guilty. You also feel nervous. Like, well, because the other in the tool business, the other tool trucks are getting the sales that you're not getting, because guys generally wait for you. They got on the truck, they see something or they want something, and they buy it or they order it. And those sales are going to somebody else if it's not going to you. So you get nervous.
Because everybody that works in the shop I've worked with for so long, I trust what they do. So
yeah.
The process we have in place works. So I'm not nervous about the people that are there. I felt guilty for not being there. I was like, I don't deserve to have a day off. I don't deserve a vacation. Right. And then I'm like, yeah, I do.
Yeah, you do. Because if you work for somebody else, you'd say, yeah, I deserve a vacation. I'm taking my time. But when you do it on yourself,
I didn't do that either. Because whenever I worked at the old shop, the last year I was there, I was supposed to get a month of vacation on top of regular holidays. And I got kind of screwed on that deal. I was like, later. But well, no, I mean, I told you that story. So we went to negotiate my salary, and I was like, all right, I want to make more money. He's like, all right, you need to work more. I'm like, sweet. So, and I was hourly. That's the way the shop worked. I was hourly. I'd gotten bumped back from commission back to hourly because all the other guys in the shop are hourly. So, he wanted to just have it one way. And so since the majority was hourly, I got moved to hourly. And I was like, all right. So I negotiated my salary, and he guaranteed me overtime, which I was like, sweet. I'll work 72 hours. No big deal. And then the other part of it was I was getting 4 paid weeks of vacation a year, or paid time off. I don't like to call it vacation, PTO. And I hadn't taken a vacation in 5 years. I hadn't taken a day off. I hadn't missed a day at work in 5 years. Other than just the regular Christmas Eve, all that kind of stuff. And So I had my 4 weeks. Well, my son's getting ready to go off to college, so we're going to go and visit colleges, and I'm going to burn up some of this time. And then I'm going to take 2 weeks at Christmas. I'm not going to show up to the shop. I'm not going to do anything. And so I get week 1, but then week 2, I go to him. I'm like, hey, man, what's up? You're like, missing some of my payola here. And he's like, you only got 3 weeks. I was like, yeah, we have an agreement. It's 4 weeks. He's like, nah. And so I was like, all right, you want to play that game? We'll play that game. Then less than 6 months later, I was gone. So
Wow.
now he's gone. So fuck him.
Oh, heard about us more play. Joke's on him.
Yeah, he's probably actually sleeping on a stack of cats. I'm not gonna lie. He got paid to leave.
As long as he gets paid, right?
Hey, what you would know this. Lindsay knows this for a fact. I would say it to his face what I would say behind his back, because I did.
He was such an easy guy to say things to his face to because you didn't like him at all.
Well, so here's my policy, right? I will never say anything about your back. I won't say your face, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And that includes something like that, because like this guy and I, we worked together for 21 years. This is like we're on like family level, and then he starts doing little things that kind of to tarnish the relationship, and then one morning he just comes unglued on me, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? You realize how much I've helped you here?" And he was this, and this, and I was like, "All right, I gotta go. Nice knowing you." So when I went back to get my stuff, he was over there crying like he was crying like a bitch. He was like,
Well, what can you do, man?
like, it's on you, man. It's on you. I never looked back. I never felt bad about leaving either. That was one thing. I was like, all right, time to like start taking care of myself. That guy would make you feel bad for taking vacation. Like if you're going like,
No.
Man, should I tell the story or not?
Why not?
All right. Because Travis was involved in this one. All right. I'm gonna say this is probably about 2014. I think it's 2014, and we're all getting ready. It's like Christmas time's coming up, and so the way the shop worked is we used to close between Christmas and New Year's, and we're not a small shop, we're not a big shop. I think we had about 7 employees at the time, and it's a good time for everybody to kind of get a break. Well, we find out 2 weeks before Christmas that we're not closing. We're gonna work through the holidays. And so we're like, hey, that's something we need to know like months in advance, not weeks in advance. Because people are assuming and they made plans. And then he goes, not only that, he goes, I'm leaving the week before Christmas. I won't be there the week of Christmas, and I'll be back after the New Year. And I'm like, you motherfucker.
Wow.
Like, are you
So he's taking it, but you're not.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And so I have to be there, and I have plans to like we have plane tickets and reservations, and I've like we're going somewhere, and he's like, no, you have to stay till I get back, then you can take your vacation. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I mean, like, I had to kick your ass and then leave, and so it pissed Travis off so much that he left. That was the final straw. He was done, and then everybody else was like, so what does that mean? I'm like, it means show your ass up to work. Like, hey, I'm gonna be here. And God, that was a hard 2 weeks because everybody was wanting to leave. Everybody was wanting out after that. And then I think we were down to 2 guys by the time he gets back, and he's over there like freaking out, and he's like, are you leaving? I'm like, phew, man, now I've got you by the balls. Like, here we go. But but the whole deal was like I finally like told him, I go, you gotta quit being so selfish with everything, and you're gonna have to like think about all the people that work for you, not just yourself. That went right over the top of it. He didn't get it.
No.
But no, I mean that ultimately that's why Travis left, and then I left for a similar reason because I was promised stuff. I got promised stuff all the time, and it never came through. And like I got promised bonuses. He's like, oh man, you had one of the best months of all time. Like you did more than 2 of the guys combined. I'm gonna give you an extra $2,000 this week. Guess what? I never got.
Mm.
Like, just stop promising me stuff. You know, like,
Yeah.
just say, hey, good job. You know, like, or
Good
just
job,
don't say
yeah.
shit. I mean, like, I don't care. Like, I don't need praise. Praise doesn't drive me. Money doesn't drive me. Accomplishment drives me. I don't need like any of that stuff. But don't promise me something and don't deliver. You
Right.
know.
Yeah, that's even worse.
Yeah, I agree.
But there's a bunch of guys that worked at that shop that are on YouTube. There's not one of them that wouldn't vouch for that. You know what happened there. Robert worked there. One of Lindsay's former, I don't know, or employee. What did he actually work for you? Zachy?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Zachy used to work there.
Yeah. He wasn't on the road for me. He did a lot of back end stuff for me. But yeah.
But,
Yeah, he was an employee
all
for a
about
time.
that. And anybody doubts my stories, they can just go check that one out. So.
No, I mean, certain guys have a well-earned horrible reputation, and your former boss there was one of them. You know,
You know what? And they wouldn't like that. He used to be like, man, he was a good dude. But the problem is he hit I think he hit a certain financial crescendo, you know, or not like crescendo, but a plateau, and then he went to that next level, and he was like, I can't be wealthy and you know have people that like respect me. But I mean, he was. I mean, that place, the overhead at that shop was. If I tell you what it was, you won't believe me.
how low it was?
You want to guess what the overhead was? Not including salary.
Well, because he owned the property the shop was on.
100% everything.
Right. He owned the property the shop was on, and he leased square footage for a media company to erect a billboard.
Yeah.
So
I'm not including that. I'm not including what he's making off of that.
Oh,
or the storage he rented out in the back.
Oh, I didn't realize he was doing that. Okay.
Yeah, but what like if he didn't have any of that, guess the number what it cost him every month to operate. Like insurance, electric bill, taxes, everything. Just guess. We didn't have water bill because we're on rainwater. He's too cheap to dig a well.
No, so I'm gonna lowball this one. Say $5,000 a month.
Not even close.
Really? Oh my God.
$2,000 a month is what it cost him.
Oh my God. Wow.
That's what it cost him.
Well, at least you know where your bonus went.
Oh, yeah, I was paying the tax. I promise you, the big boat he's got now. Guess who paid for that one? You know, that's 21 years of service, $2,000 a month. I mean, and he would pinch pennies. All right, I got another great story. So there was a time that I should be doing these on my channel and gaining followers watching my. No, I'll tell you, I'm good with this. So he goes.
Brian says that's a truck payment.
So like the last year I'm there, excuse me, my voice is kind of fading in and out. So the last year I'm there, he goes and he starts buying all these like classic cars. He buys like a Road Runner and like some other cars, and so he buys this Nova, right? And we have like this really shitty battery charger in the shop. And I go up to him and I go, hey man, we need to buy a battery charger like today. And he's like, all right. He goes, I'm going to go to a garage sale this week and I'll see if I can pick one up. I go, are you fucking kidding me? I go, we need to buy a battery charger today. And so then I walk off and I'm just like pissed off. And he's just bought this Nova. And so Robert comes up to him and he goes, hey, Cass, you know the battery charger's bad? And I go, yeah, the shop can't afford it. I just bought a Nova. And I walked off. I was like, what a prick. Oh man, that one right there did not earn me any favors in the shop. I'll tell you that. You know, and he didn't say anything. It's not like he was going to go argue with me about that. I mean, the shop, because you know, like when you, so technically, was I the manager at some level? Probably so. So I was privy to things like I knew what everybody made. I knew what the bills were. I knew like, you know, how to pay everybody if something happened one week. You know, like I knew what account the money was in and. You know what check to write, and at the end we actually had a payroll company that handled all that stuff. So I just had to report the time. And so I was like, "Yep, shop can't afford a battery charger, Robert." The shop just bought a Nova, and I walked off. Oh man! Hey, you know what? It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Was I wrong? No.
New.
But no, I mean so they bought the land like before they ever built the building, and then I think they paid cash for the building, and then we just like nickeled and dimed. I mean, like we didn't have running water for 3 months. We used a porta can for like a year,
Whoa.
and then it was just like as he could afford stuff, and then he gets divorced in like 2011, and his ex-wife took. I mean, she like the shop almost closed. How much money? There was no money left. I mean, like she was just what she would do is she'd go and rack up a bunch of debt with credit cards, and then she'd take a credit card check and just pay for all the stuff with the credit card check. So the business was just absorbing this like left and right. So she leaves, and then he's just like a shell of himself. And so Travis and I, this is when we really take over the business. I mean, we get this thing up and going, and we get it like pumping cash out. We had to bring some more people in there, but I mean, this thing is absolutely producing money. And Travis comes up to me and he goes, "Man, this is the absolute best month the shop's ever done." You know, and every month it's like that. Every month it's like so. Lloyd starts to come back into the picture. Oh, I just dropped names. Oh, sorry, I don't give a shit. And so, anyways, so he comes back into the picture because he's not getting divorced. He's like really upset about this stuff, and I'm like, all right. You know, like I'm not the one to cry on the shoulder to cry on. And so we tell him about this stuff. He goes, "Y'all don't need to know those numbers." And I was like, whoa, you kidding me? I'm like, hey, guess what, bud? You'd be unemployed and without a business right now if it wasn't for us. But yeah, so then it was a constant struggle from there. And then we wanted to open another location and take half the guys that worked in the shop and move them to the location. And we almost did it. And then he was like, "I want to put it over here." I'm like, "Yeah, there's a shop that failed right there. Like, what are we doing? Why are we looking at doing that?" And I told him where, we'd kind of like done some research on an area, and we decided like this would be a great place to put a shop, and it would probably like, knock it dead. And he was like, "Nah, I like over here better. It's cheaper." I'm like, "Yeah, see, there we go." So it never happened. But there you go. Any other stories you want to hear? Anything else about my shitty time? It's 21 years, and you know whose fault it is? 21 years. It's not his fault. Because at any point I could have left.
It's true. Yeah.
Like the only person you got to blame is yourself. You're like, "Oh, why'd you put up with that for 21 years?" And you're thinking to yourself, you're like, "Oh man, did I really?"
Oh, why did I do that? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I could have killed that guy the day I met him, and I'd have been getting out by then.
With the right lawyer, I could have copped a plea deal. I would have been done by now.
Yeah,
Well, Miguel Martinez has joined us. Good to see you. It's been a long time.
King of the emojis.
Yep. And he's using them like he stole them.
Biggest leprechaun you ever. That's right.
Yep. Well, Brian's talking about $2,000 a month. Brian says that's his truck payment. He says he can't have to wait to pay it off. Now, let me ask you this, Brian. You pay that off. Does Matco have a rule that you have to buy a truck after a certain period of time, or can your truck not be over some certain age? I know some franchise companies have those rules for their guys. I don't know if Matco does, but
I think Snapon. I think they make you buy a new truck after a certain amount of time.
Something like that, yeah.
And then it becomes a Mac truck.
Yep.
True.
Brian's got a question for you, Mark. Did Mobile Tool Network go under?
They might be on their way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a shame because out of all the suppliers, they really back the mobile tool trucks. They try to bring you the best pricing. Yeah. And let me tell you, some of their pricing was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good. And they needed to expand, but one of the guys that are, what I'm getting from one of the guy that works there is they don't want to invest any more into it to grow the business. So it makes no sense, really. Like, and they can't get any more.
Didn't we just have this conversation? Like,
basically, yeah. I think, yeah. Somebody wants to keep the money, not reinvest it into the business. Yeah. So it dries up.
I got 28 years worth of stories to tell you about.
Yeah.
Throw a rock.
Well,
it's a shame.
I liked their approach. I thought they were very good guys from what I knew of them.
Mm-hmm.
I never did business with them, and it wasn't because I thought they were bad. It was just because with me, I kind of the fewer suppliers I can use.
Yeah, that's what I'm
manage.
This year I've really cut back to.
Yeah,
and I deal with two right now, two suppliers, and I told each one, whoever makes me feel warm and fuzzy is going to get all my money.
Right? I mean, it's now the funny thing. I normally like that myself, and because I deal mostly with ISN, and
Mm-hmm.
They did a couple of things that did not set well with me at all, and I tried real hard to go. And I'm done ISN. I'm going to go to Medco.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I like it or not, ISN always had more stuff available that I was.
That's the hard part. ISN has a lot available.
They do. Right, so what am I going to do? I'm not going to then say, fine, I'll just relegate you to these few things, but their pricing was oftentimes better. I'm like, well, at some point, I'm just shooting myself in the foot over my own principles. And while I don't want to feel like I'm abandoning my principles, the fact is I still need to operate a business. And it's not going to go as well if I pay more and have less available to me. I mean, that's got to be my overriding principle. It has to trump everything else. It has to trump my feelings. It has to trump, how mad I might be at a supplier for something that they've done. At some point, I need to realize I've got to go to the place that's going to give me the most that I can get for the least amount of money. And it's these guys. So that's why I've been doing business with them mostly. It's not easy.
I did a lot of business with Medco. A lot of business.
Yep.
And then it started to drop off. And they would call me like, hey, it's dropping off. I'm like, yeah, well, you're not giving me, So beginning of the year, they called me again and they said, well, we got this program in place, blah, blah, blah. And they gave me all this other stuff. They're actually willing to actually pay for my warranty shipment back to them.
That's nice.
That's nice.
But does it add up to that much?
Well, it's, so there's an X amount of dollars they want me to do with them. And, I divided up. I looked at it and I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do that. It's not out of, the question. But my rep at ISN is so good at what he does. He makes my life so easy.
That's the thing. Again, convenience as everybody in our industry and the repair industry knows, convenience is worth something, and it can be worth an awful lot.
And he makes my life so easy. I mean, I can text this guy, and I get an answer. He texts me back right away, usually with the right answer.
Yep.
Or if I send him a picture, I'm like, listen, I hate to do this to you, but you're selling it for this. I can get it for this. And next thing you know, you'll get it for that. There you go.
Yeah.
See, ours is a little bit different whenever we buy parts. So I can just throw a brand out there, and I can tell you 3 places we get it from. So Motorcraft, we buy a lot from the dealership because the dealer, believe it or not, a lot of times is cheaper than either a Whirlpack or they're the same price as. And then our local parts supplier, A-Line, which used to be a dedicated distributor of Motorcraft, is 30% higher than the other two.
Wow.
So that's a lot of money. I mean, and although, yes, the markup on the parts is not as great from the dealership, but I'm also not going to mark up parts, over the list price of them, because then I don't know. That's just how we do business. I mean, I know some people are fine marking stuff up 300-400%, but we don't do that. So our business is just a wee bit different. But that's if you want to hear more about parts markups, go over to Text Talking Shop sometime this month, and I'll have a video on it, and I'm sure I'll butcher that one.
I mean, that's a really good topic anyway for a live stream. We should probably
mark up on
frequent live streams and have a topic like that to come
up. Like everybody pisses and moans about markup on parts, but guess what? You pay markup on everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, you have to. I mean, People won't be in business if they don't mark stuff up.
It's not UNICEF. We're not giving this shit away.
Well,
it's like like Lindsay. Like I know what Lindsay pays for stuff a lot of times, and what he charges me, I don't ever question.
Because it's fair.
He's not going to show. Well, fair is where old men wear funny hats and judge farm animals. But but what the number one thing I don't mind is he's going to be there every week and he's going to take care of any problems. And that's what I appreciate the most. I mean, I am paying for the service. But you pay Mark. It's not like you go to the grocery store and get to go and, bid them down on celery. Like, oh, I'm not paying $1 for celery. 34 cents. They're gonna be like, hit the fucking bricks.
Yeah.
All right, I want to know this answer. Here you go. Daniel asked, "Isn't Clay Coon part of the ownership of MTN?" Mark,
I don't know. I'm not 100% sure.
I know. I think he had some level of involvement with them, or at least he knew the guy.
I don't know. There's some involvement, but I don't know what he did. Like if he was an employee, or if he was a part owner, or if he was just friendly with the guy. I don't know. I never talked to Clay about it, so.
Well, I know I watched one of his live streams, and he says he's working for Vim now. And I like Clay. Clay's he's a personal guy on his YouTube channel. He seems like he's all right. So,
well, he's a big influence. Yeah. He has a big channel. So why not? I mean, he has over 100,000 subscribers. He gets, he's out there. So if you're willing to bring him on to promote something, at least 50,000 people are going to see it.
Mm-hmm.
No, Lindsay stores his truck at his house. We just work on it occasionally. We're just joking about it being there for the better part of a week.
Well, this last time it was, but trying to find that stupid part. Oh, well, here's an interesting thing. We're tying back into the cost of what markup is on things. So I'm looking for an idler pulley for my truck that broke last week, and I saw them listed lots of places, but the availability was dicey on these. So I'd see them listed on some shops. It was just like just over 3 inches in diameter with a dual bearing in there, and that was it. The shaft screwed into the engine block, and that was it out of the pulley, right? Some places wanted to sell it for $350. I bought it at AutoZone for $52. While everyone has to pay some markup, you don't have to pay that kind of markup.
Yeah.
And a lot of it too is just like we were talking about earlier. You get in this space of not knowing what the market's doing, and you're pricing your stuff in a vacuum.
It's the same thing with parts. It's like for us, whenever we look for parts, like, oh yeah, we could conveniently pick some stuff up for 30% more, but the way our business is structured, the way we do things, the way we check stuff out, the way we have, the way our business operates, we're going to save the customer some money and get them, the highest quality parts. And Lindsay knows this. We don't sell a lot of aftermarket stuff. A lot of stuff is OE brand or OE parts, or but also there's a little bit more that goes into it. I'm talking kind of out of both sides of my mouth right now, because there's times where you have somebody that has X amount of dollars for a car repair, and you sometimes just have to help them out. But you're never going to put something on there that you're going to have to replace because it doesn't work. But that's probably a story for another day. I had to kind of compose my thoughts a little bit better on that one before I give you the best answer. It's like an ASC test. How many guys in here are taking an ASC test, right? Like they're not looking for the right answer. They're looking for the best answer.
Well, getting back to the
crock of shit
mobile tool network topic, Brian Stewart says a guy from Venom HP said that they were closing, and that there was a big fight between Clay and MTN at SEMA. That's interesting.
Yeah.
You never know all the details, and
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
there's always going to be contention, especially as a company starts to grow and people get ideas about the direction that it should take or the way they want to operate. There's always going to be points of contention, and it's difficult for everyone to get on the same page sometimes. And sometimes, unfortunately, it means that an otherwise good company might go away because the ownership group just couldn't all see eye to eye and stuff.
Believe it or not,
It happens to good companies.
I don't like to get involved in drama. So
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't at SEMA next year.
I was at SEMA. I didn't see it happen.
Yeah, well, I wasn't there. It's hard to say.
It might have happened. It might not happen. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a dynamic.
The argument could have been over who brought the coffee and you put the wrong stuff in my sugar.
Yeah,
it could have been
Splenda. Are you kidding me? I asked for sweet and low. God damn it.
Well, my cousin's husband he's in the petroleum industry, and he started a bunch of companies over the years, and partnering with people. He says it's always difficult. You just have to make sure that everything's as good as you can make it. And the reason why he hasn't just started one company and stayed with it is you're always trying to do different things, and if that means that relationships come and go, companies come and go, it's unfortunately just the way the business landscape. It's just the reality of doing it. And honestly, too, I would think that even in a perfect world, it's difficult to compete with the Medcos and the ISNs if you're a little guy.
Yeah. Do this. Go and look and see how many brands are 100 years old out there.
Well,
just go and anything.
There's only a few, but out of those, how many of the original company?
Yeah, I mean,
they're not. I mean,
they get sold off or something. Yeah.
Yeah, or somebody just buy, or they go out of business, and then another company just buys the brand name, like SK Tools, for example.
But look at like companies like what I don't even know if this is an accurate statement, but Coca-Cola, maybe,
yeah.
Ford,
yeah,
you can't really say it about GM. I don't know if you can say it about GM. They got bailed out by the government. I don't know. It's hard. That one's a hard one for me. And I don't like watch like business stuff. Like I don't play in the stock market because I'm not smart enough to do that kind of stuff. And I don't make a lot of money because I'm in business for myself. It's true. What the hell is going on? Somebody's about to get attacked. Who is that? Is that Mark or Lizzie?
He's sleeping.
Oh, it's snoring?
And she's awake.
Not anymore. The alarm just went off. Time to get up.
She was sleeping. She just woke herself up.
She woke her. I've woke myself up snoring before, but I don't get up barking though.
Sounds like my house.
Yeah.
I got a dog sleeping.
I think she woke herself up.
My daughter and my wife have guinea pigs, and I don't have to.
That was my Christmas present.
Area. A dog?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of dog is
it? It's a Great Pyrenees mixed. I got her at the shelter.
Oh, that's one of those great big giant dogs. Those are the ones that have the yard bombs that you got to watch out for.
Wait a minute, hold on. Hey, shut up. There you go.
Yeah, I'm allergic to like almost everything, so no pets for me. Even the dog doesn't like me talking. The dog's like, shut that guy up now.
I got a Great Pyrenees mix too. Sounds very similar in how they kind of groan and make noises, but yes, they'll bark at everything.
Oh yeah.
I was wanting to get a bulldog and a Shih Tzu mix so I could have a bullshit.
I don't know what she's growling at. Now she's laying down at the front door again. Shut up.
Ours will go outside at night, and Pyrenees love being outside. They're ready to be outside, right? So she'll just lay in the yard, and you can't get her sometimes for loving her money. She's just laying there, and then she'll start barking. And I go out there and look, nothing. She's just standing in the yard barking. She's not looking at anything. She'll bark, walk around, bark somewhere else.
I call it her box of rocks. A rock rolls off to the side of her head, and she starts barking.
They're not the smartest dogs, but they are wonderful, wonderful dogs.
They're just very stubborn.
They really are.
They do. Yeah, she's not bad though. I've trained her pretty good so far. So.
Well, they're not eager to please like other breeds are.
No.
So they're hard to train. You know, they don't come when you call them. They just kind of do their own thing, but they're
It's
generally
like a giant cat.
It
they
is,
are.
yes.
They really are.
Yes.
Barking at ghosts. That's
People,
what my wife says too. She says, "Hey, barking at the ghost again."
the people that have
Yeah.
cats are like, they're like, oh, here's my cat. Well, first off, I can't be anywhere near a cat. I'd be in some trouble. But pull Daniels up. Let's for sure talk politics on this thing. Absolutely.
Oh, nothing's off limits. So.
Yeah.
How's the
There we go.
election year
Y'all wanted it.
How's the election year affecting our business? He's primarily in the defense industry, and it's booming with looming World War III. I have not seen a drop off in business this year.
No, it doesn't matter who's. I don't care.
Oh, I can't wait.
I don't care who's. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. You want tools or not?
I hope everybody just stops driving. That'd be great for me. I get another day off. I could take another vacation. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We don't.
The only thing I remember affecting business was the COVID pandemic. And even then, it didn't affect my business because I just shifted from servicing a lot of independent automotive shops to going to fleet and diesel because they were not affected by the pandemic. But some of the independent shops were.
Yeah.
But that's really that's kind of like the only outside
during that time, I stopped working probably for 2.5 months, just because I couldn't go into the shops.
Yes. Yeah.
There's no point driving up to the shop. They were open. Shops were open, but they weren't letting people in. And the shops that did let people in, there wasn't enough shops to go driving around so I took a vacation.
Oh, that's yeah. I've got a comment about politics and my industry, but no, COVID was great. I mean, we were so busy, and Travis goes, whenever it was like real, like he's like, should we close for a week or two and just kind of see what happens? And I'm like, Travis, this is just you and I. I mean, like, what we can do is just have people drop off stuff at the gate, and then the shop we were at, we shared a parking lot with a tire shop, and so we had like a gate that kind of closed everything off. And I was like, it was great. I had to talk to customers, like everything was remote. I was like, this is awesome. And then Lindsay never stopped running his route. He came out to the shop, and the only thing that was kind of funny was the Snapon guy wouldn't let us go on the truck. He made us like stand at the door, and then he would walk over there, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you serious? It was all right. And after about 2 weeks of doing that, he's like, all right, come on the truck. No mask. I'm like, don't worry, I wasn't going to wear one. But I got a good mask story, too. It's an excellent mask story. But I'm not going to tell that one right now. I'm going to tell y'all. All right, so in 2008, does everybody remember Cash for Clunkers?
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. That affected me a little bit. The shops got really slow.
Oh, man. We were like... So the shop I was working at, they were like... He was like, I think I'm just going to reduce the staff down to 2 people. And I was like, well, it looks like a bunch of y'all are getting fired. I was like... and I worked on the biggest piles of shit. I mean, it was just junk. Like, I worked on a truck that should have been in the scrapyard. And you know who brought cars to get repaired? People that couldn't get loans at a bank. That's who brought cars to you.
Yeah.
Because somebody that couldn't get a loan or, and you worked on junk, and they're like, oh, well, your POS truck needs $1,000 worth of work. And they're like, okay, just do the bare minimum. You're like, thanks. I just wasted half a day checking this pile of shit out and finding parts. And yeah, it was tough. I thought we were going to close for sure. I thought it was going to sink us. And I've told Lindsay this before. I told Lindsay this before. I mean, like, there's a gap in people or in technicians from that time, right? Because I mean, like, nobody was getting into the trade because there was no jobs. Nobody wanted to work in there because there was no money to be made. And so people went and did something else. And I get a little more political, but I won't do it right now. But so there was absolutely no money to make in this industry. So we have this gap. And so we don't have like these younger guys that aren't necessarily the new entry guys, but like the 30 somethings, like it's not there.
Yeah.
And the reason why they're not there is there wasn't any work. So cash for clunkers. Way to go, Obama.
Another one of those ideas that seemed okay on the surface until you start to see
right.
how it actually affected the industry.
The guy before him was willing to bail out like the failing bank. So, the guy's an idiot too.
Yeah, when you see the reality of how those programs affect the industry, man, to not all the correct up to be.
You just got to look at which ones are attached to the military industrial complex.
Hey, JWC Tech's here. Good to see you, buddy. Glad you joined us.
He's like, hey, the black helicopters are surrounding my channel, are they? Oh. I'm not that bad. I play devil's advocate sometimes on this stuff. Just to make things uncomfortable. Yeah, no, Joe Mama, it was a rough time. If I didn't have a really supportive wife, I don't know that I would have lasted much longer than that. I mean, we were. Whew, you definitely learned how to save after that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Kathy and I had a conversation about that. She said, "What do we do if it really hits the business?" I said, "I don't know. We have a whole lot to worry about." I said, to be honest with you, because we don't run our business where we have such high debt to our suppliers that we can't just pay it off fairly quickly if we had to. That does not concern me that much. But she was worried about, the ongoing business. It's not a big deal. I said, it's such a portable business, and we can start it right back up again if we had to get out of it, do something else, then get back into it. I said, it's not that big a deal. We can do all that. Come to find, none of it was an issue, but it was a good feeling to know that no matter what happened, we'd be okay, because the business model's a good one. There's always going to be business there. If the business takes a dip, it'll come back. It's not like people's vehicles are going away and they're not going to need a service anymore. So we would always have a customer base.
And this all falls back to one thing. It's living within your means.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't live within your means, stuff like that puts you under. But if you live within your means and you have you don't even have to have a great backup, right? You just have a little bit of a backup. You live within your means. It helps out. Like, trust me. I mean, I just, we restarted a business that had been closed for a year because of, some really unfortunate events that really didn't have anything to do with us. It just happened to us. And I had, I had reduced my, I guess, how much it cost me a month to live. Like, I had figured out what the base amount was, and that's what I needed to live off of. And so I just don't step outside of that comfort zone unless I need to. But, and that helped me through this year, because in 2019, I had to basically learn how to, I had basically had to restructure my finances because I had to have a surgery. I thought I had cancer. So they're like, we're pretty sure this is cancer. And so I was like, oh, I don't even know if I'm going to be alive or not. I don't know what I'm going to look like. I don't know if I'm able to work anymore. So I had a bunch of unknowns. And so what I did is I restructured my lifestyle. So if anything like that ever happened again, it wouldn't be like a straight, forest fire to my finances.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you can always service the new Cybertruck that Sammy's been looking at. You mean your new Cybertruck, Sammy?
Sammy?
You and I just had that conversation yesterday.
I'm not working on Cybertruck. I'm not working on
Tesla. Just had that conversation yesterday with him. Yeah.
I'll know where to send them. I'll just drop a pin. I'll route the Cybertruck to you.
Yeah, not for me. You say that now.
I'm all right with them violating the Right to Repair Act. I don't really want to work on them.
But I read an interesting article about, in fact, I was telling Sammy about this article yesterday I read about the Tesla Cybertruck, how it's an all stainless steel body, but they're having a problem with corrosion. And they're recommending you don't drive it in the rain. And if you do, then you have to wipe it down. But I'm reading this article and they're citing stuff that's written in the owner's manual.
Hey, Lindsay. Kidding me. Would you like to go eat at a buffet, but you're not allowed to get up and go get food from the buffet? I need you to pay the $14.95. Please make sure you do the dishes on your way out.
I mean, man, that's
a hell of a sales tactic. Just don't drive in the rain.
Yeah, just don't drive in the rain.
You just don't
drive in the rain.
Section of your business. Here it'd be fine because it rains Come
on, John DeLorean got it right the first time.
That's true.
Yeah, don't worry. The environment will be harmed unless it rains on this thing, and then all of a sudden we might cause an ecological disaster.
All the extra
Oh,
chemicals
no.
running in the sewer system because people are washing their cyber trucks.
So we went to Colorado. A month ago, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And so we're driving, and it snowed it snowed from basically Raton, New Mexico, all the way into Breckenridge, Colorado. And so we're in Breckenridge. We're coming through the switchbacks that you come whenever you come into town. And there's a Tesla in front of me, and he's struggling with the snow.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what was going on until we got a little bit closer. Because the best thing to do, for somebody with no drive, with little to zero driving experience in snow, is to tailgate the shit out of somebody in front of them that's driving in the snow and ice. And then I realized what had happened is the wheel wells were clogging up with snow, and it was locking the wheels up on the Tesla. And the Tesla was sliding around. I was like, holy shit, he's about to wreck. And sure enough, he wrecked. And I was like, man, it wasn't like a big wreck. I mean, he slid into the snow, but I was like, all right, I need to get some distance on the next car. I don't need to be that close. But I was like, I guess the brakes were freaking out or something. I don't know. What's going on, John?
Some type of dragons. They're probably dragging, slipping.
Yeah.
He's trying to turn the wheel. It's probably locking up.
Yeah. I don't know, but I'm such an experienced snow driver. It snows so much here in Texas. I've got all that great
twice in the last 5 years.
Hey, you know what? The snow is easier to drive on than ice. Ice
true.
is probably the scariest thing on earth to drive on. So you just slip slide around. You're like, oh, this is not fun.
Don says you need to be an electrical engineer to work on the new vehicles. I knew a guy who, or maybe actually, you know what? I think he was somebody who joined us on a live chat a while back. I don't remember who he was, but he said that the landscape for technicians who work on the Teslas is completely different from, regular internal combustion engine vehicles. He said that the skill sets are different. What they have to know is different. Their whole business model is different. So, I mean, I don't know that we'd see a wholesale change in the industry anytime within our lifetimes, but certainly it's making an impact. And it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
I think they'll be there, but I don't know that they're the long-term solution.
No,
Because our society, we're really good at doing this, shoot, ready, aim type model. Where we go and we create a problem that we think we fixed, and then as we kind of look at it, we're like, it's not good. And so I think it's gonna be one of those. Everybody's pushing this stuff, but fall back to what Toyota's doing.
Yeah.
Are they getting it? And BMW, they're starting to walk away from hybrids now too.
Isn't Ford giving up on them now entirely?
I don't know. I wouldn't buy a Ford if it was electric or gas. I mean, it doesn't matter what kind it is. I'm out on that deal. But I wouldn't buy a new. I don't want to buy any of the new cars. They're all terrible.
I think Rivian is going to be. I read something about them not doing too well, and they're just not.
Have you seen the? All right. So the biggest complaint about the Rivian is this built I think it's almost 100% built by a computer. And so then they have service technicians that have to go and adjust the door because they got a lot of wind noise and stuff like that. Rust Belt Mechanic. This is where I'm getting it from. Rust Belt Mechanic was working for Rivian about the last time I put a video out. So you want to know my sources? That's where it is. But
okay.
Would you drive a Rivian? Have you seen these things? I mean, it looks like an asshole on wheels. I mean, come on. Seriously, this Cybertruck. I was like, oh, the Cybertruck's so cool. That thing. It's the ugliest fucking thing.
It's the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
You'd have to tie a pork chop on it to get the dog to play with it. All right, that is a horrendous looking vehicle. Oh, it's the future. Well, put me back in the past.
Man, you just somehow managed to insult assholes.
Hey, you know what? You're talking to one right here. The lightning is not. I don't give it. It's another, shocker. All those Teslas that were stranded in the cold up north. You're like, I didn't feel bad for those people for not 1 second.
Someone should create an all-electric vehicle called the Shocker, and this could be their logo.
Yeah, I'm sure they already have it. They're just waiting for
Shocker.
next year's model. Well, we got you the Shocker.
The 2025 Shocker.
Yeah. They could have the Shocker minivan, 2 in the front, 5 in the back.
It's a great marketing campaign.
Just put me in charge of it. I'll find a way to do it. What is Daniel saying? Is, hey, now I've got 3 Cybertrucks on order for my business. Gotta love them tax credits. Hey, man, do what you got to do. I'm not telling you how to spend your money. I'm just saying
make it work to your advantage. Yeah,
I've never told anybody how to spend their money. I can promise you that.
Oh, and Don, you're right. We do not have the infrastructure for all electric vehicles. I see that here in Austin with the transit bus company. That's our biggest account, and it's interesting to talk to guys like Sammy, who's on the chat tonight, and other technicians who work there, who work on these things, and what the reality is of how those buses are existing in an actual production environment, and all the interesting things that they're seeing, all the obstacles that they have to constantly overcome, what it means for the charging infrastructure and what their plans are for that, and how that's going to affect the power grid and the city. And these things are not just isolated topics, because they affect entire industries across the board. And there are so many pieces to that infrastructure, and we can't support it. There isn't a way to do that right now.
They're not smart enough to figure out to stop letting people build massive neighborhoods and subdivisions in this town, and we're running out of water.
Yeah.
We have the smartest people that decide things in this area. They're just bright, tip of the spear.
Yeah.
Those people I will criticize. I'll tell them how they're spending my money. Our infrastructure's not made for EV vehicles. Yeah, well, we don't have any water either, so why don't we stop letting people build massive houses here, dipshits?
Well, you can't say no, right?
Well, I mean, you can just put a moratorium on building. I mean, the part of Hays County that we operate a shop in right now, you can't build anything because they don't know how they're going to get water.
Yep. I mean,
last summer we were at maximum volume of the amount of water LCRA was going to let the city have.
Yep.
And everybody's drilling wells. I don't know where you're going to drill a well to. You're going to hit magma before you hit water. So
it's pretty rough. JWC Tech says at least 6 to 10 Amazon vans go down every day. That's the Rivian. Yeah, that's in the. Brian Stewart says John Menard owns an EV Hummer. It's in the shop more than at his house.
He's got enough money. He can buy another one. Lindsay, you skipped a comment. You need to go back.
I'll go back. We're still on topic here. Sammy says just cost $1 million for the company to purchase them. Can't imagine what the government's paying on them. Can you imagine that? That they cost, like, my understanding is, Sammy, correct me if I'm wrong, that an electric bus costs about 4 times as much as a diesel bus just to purchase the vehicle. And they're not getting any out of runtime out of the electric vehicles because they have to get recharged, and sometimes they don't make it back to the charging station. Now they got to send a tow to get on the hook.
Hold on, yeah, or they got to send a generator over there. What's the generator running on?
They're not sending a generator.
Are they running on old dinosaurs? Is that what they're doing?
They are. They run on fossil fuels.
The countries, that's what they have to go charge up the dead EV vehicles. They have somebody that rolls up with a diesel generator. You're like, yep, that's what I thought. Yep. Hey, Lindsay, where are they getting power to recharge these buses from?
Ultimately, from a fossil fuel power plant.
Well, hold on a second. What kind of fossil fuel are they burning in that joint? You mean that's not green?
Strangely, no, it's not.
So, like, you're telling me that railroad track that runs through the middle?
When it was alive, it was green.
They named the highway after, or they named the road after that runs there. You mean that's not bringing in clean green energy? It's bringing something else into town.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of, and I don't understand why people who make these decisions aren't seeing the realities and.
No. Whoa, no. The people that are making these decisions are getting paid.
if that's the case, that's the only thing that explains this, right? Because like Sammy says, they're junk. They're just not living up to their promise, and a lot of money has gone into that. The only thing that makes it all make sense is if the decision makers are getting paid and influenced by the manufacturers. Now, yeah, I don't have evidence of that, but tell me how else you can sell a product that underperforms, that costs 4 times as much, and doesn't have a reliable infrastructure to support. Because in every other context, that's a terrible business decision. Every other one, except one where it's worth people's while to make bad decisions.
Yeah. Hey, they're not going to fire me. I can claim I'm a rat, and they'll be like, "Oh, we're going to protect them." The International Society of Rats is protecting. They're going to protest outside the shop.
Hold on.
See where I'm going with that one.
Don says the weight of the new EV Hummer is 9,000 pounds. What?
Hmm.
Almost.
Oh my God. Wow.
Tires only last 30,000 miles.
And they're not cheap to replace.
Well, it's good I got a tire machine. I found something I might do on an EV vehicle.
Yeah, you could do EV tire mounts. Wow.
Why? So I posed this question the other day in the shop. I go, why is the oldest guy in the shop the one doing the most tires?
Yeah, but
But I also know the answer to that too. So I'm like, let's keep my mouth shut. It's a rhetorical question. I already knew the answer to it too. I was like, oh.
It's just an eminently interesting topic to me because there's so many facets to it. But the bottom line from what I see is everybody agrees that they're somehow not worth it. And yet people are still buying in.
If you want to do another live stream on just this one particular topic, we need to do it because it's a really.
There's a lot of good topics. One of them here, we're going to write down some topic ideas for the next time. Electric vehicles.
All right.
Why
or why not? Mark should buy one for each one of us.
Wow. I'll make your decision easy for you, Mark. No.
Don't.
Don't.
It's all right. I don't have a place to charge it.
If you want to buy an electric vehicle, be my guest. If you want to buy gas, be my guest. I don't care what you buy. Just don't force a vehicle on me.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to do in California with doing away with fossil fuel powered things like gas appliances and
man. Gas appliance. I need a gasoline margarita mixer, please.
We're going to do a topic on product markup / profit margin.
Let's wait till next month on that one. That way I can at least do my tech stock shop video.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
We can bring Jude in on that one too. Jude be good.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be a good one. While we're discussing it, anybody who's in the chat right now, if you've got ideas for topics that you'd like to bring up at future live streams, please let me know. Pipe in. I think that there's a lot of good experience with the people who are in the chat.
I can't promise you'll be in costume every live stream, but I will try.
I'd be disappointed if you weren't.
Well, I'm not wearing Easter anything, so you can just get the Easter bunny ears out of your head right now. But Cinco de Mayo is coming up, and I do.
Can you at least get a cartoonishly large bow tie?
Oh, I might be able to make that happen.
Help a brother out.
You said it the widest way possible too. Help a brother out. Hey guys.
Come on, can you help a brother out over here?
Yeah. Could you make it any nerdier, please?
But Joe this is the slam dunk. Think of how much money you save on gas.
What are we talking about again? I think we've just gone off the rails the whole night.
Electric vehicles. So anyway, yeah. Any other topics people want to discuss? Bring it on. Ear tools versus battery tools, Sammy says.
See, the 4th of July, we could do a stream where none of us are wearing sleeves. It'd be our right to
Liz, did you get any of those new IR air guns with the interchangeable handle?
No. I'm as bad as anyone else on this one. I think it's a very intriguing idea, but I'm not going to be the first guy to try it. And I think everyone else is thinking the same thing. People who see it, because it's in my flyers right now, it's like, that looks really cool. I'm like, I know, right? They say, do you know anyone who has one? I'm like, nope, I don't. And so I'm like, okay.
I wouldn't buy it. Why are you buying? Well,
And I'm not just going to put one on the truck.
There you are. I'm shitting on electric.
I thought about it.
Like, why are you buying air tools, dinosaur?
I just took an order in for another 1/2-inch air impact. But they're great.
You
They don't
told me I would
really...
have sold them one.
Yeah, but they still have a place. People still
have a
like
place.
reliability.
So this is what I use the most on air, and probably not in any particular order, but the air hammer's number one or close to. Some of the pencil grinders I use, the right angle tools. So Lindsay knows what I have. I've got a bunch of these, little pneumatic tools. I've got just different tools on them, like whether it's a big drum grinder or a pencil grinder or a flat disc or something like that. And I run all this. Miguel Martinez just trumped me. He's a blowgun. He's right. I use that every day. But that's what I mainly use. I can't tell you the last time I pulled my 1/2-inch impact out of my drawer to use it.
Mm. Yeah, I think in the past year, I only remember selling, I think, 2 air impacts.
I sold one last week.
Yeah, I just took an order for one, so I'll have that.
Yeah.
It'll
Actually, I sold 2 last week. Both 3/8 though.
Which ones are they? The Ingersolls or a different brand?
They were both Aircats.
Okay, yeah, another great brand.
Yeah.
But I've taken a few Macos in on repair. In fact, I just finished up a 3/4 inch that's going out today. The great thing about the air tools is they're very easy to rebuild. Parts are generally widely available for any brand. And once they are rebuilt, they generally last a pretty long time.
Yep.
Half-inch air drills what Don uses the most. And I was so glad whenever Lloyd finally bought a electric drill, because I was tired of hearing he had the most obnoxious. It's like the Fran Drescher of air drills. This thing would run, and you're just like, if you use that in another 2 minutes, I'm like choked with a cord.
The Fran Drescher of air tools. Oh God.
Oh yeah, oh man. I'm telling you, it's like I can still hear that thing, and I hadn't worked with them in 10 years, so.
Well, Joe Mama's got another good point about electric vehicles. Wait till the electric rates go through the roof.
See, we're having a debate here between the price of gas and the electric rates. Well, at the end of the day, we're all sold a bill of goods. It's kind of disingenuous. Like, oh, it's better for the environment, except for we're charging these things off of fossil fuels still.
And the environmental impact of mining the lithium for the batteries.
Oh, they talk about the human impact of mining the lithium batteries.
Yeah. It don't count. That's another country.
Right?
Fuck them. We don't know.
Might as well be a different planet.
We're okay as long as it's cheap. All right. If Milwaukee goes up on prices, I'm gonna have a problem with China.
Well, Daniel says so will the gas prices. Yeah, but that fluctuates differently than whatever the price is for electric stuff.
That's a whole other can of worms too, though.
Yeah, although
gas prices are all sold on futures, and that's based on something else too. And I'm not the expert on that, so I'm not gonna.
No, that's a complicated industry. But I mean,
it's a racket, right? It's like they got something that you need, so they get to make whatever price they want, right? Sometimes they give you a little bit of a deal, sometimes they don't.
But the number of players that are involved in that is far-reaching.
Oh man, the number of players involved in that should be working for the common man are involved in that. That
Well,
should be the problem.
That it
Dick
is.
Cheney. Dick Cheney, what are you doing today?
Or how about when the battery shits the bed and it costs 40 grand to replace? No kidding. I mean, these are stupid expensive endeavors to replace the batteries. And even some of the older batteries are costing 25 grand.
I don't want to hear anything because anybody that owns a Kia right now, if you're trying to find an engine, good luck.
Can't find an engine to a Kia?
Mm-mm.
How come?
Because they didn't make any. I don't know. I mean, Kia's a throwaway vehicle. We can. There's another topic. Throwaway cars. There you go. Boom.
LS swap into your Kia.
No. Why would you want to ruin a perfectly good engine with a car? Yep. Miguel Martinez, Kia engines are trash. No, Miguel, you can just take engine out. Kia are trash.
Well, do they make
It's
their own
probably-
engines? Someone else make them.
I don't know. They're all made in Korea. I don't care. It's a junk car.
Oh.
It's a throwaway car. I mean, like literally, you drive it for 150,000 miles and then you throw it away. The people that buy Kias are buying Kias. If you own a Kia, I'm sorry if I offend you, or not. But you're buying a Kia because for some reason I don't know. I wouldn't buy a Kia. I wouldn't suggest anybody buy a Kia. I say that, man. But none of the cars I own were made in the last 18 years. So I got one car that's kind of newer. Maybe I lied about that. A lifetime warranty through Kia. Yeah, well, the lifetime of the vehicle. And I see just the most horrible problems with those, and then like a lot of Ford cars. God, they are really. I don't know anything about buses, Sammy. I couldn't tell you. You're the expert, though.
Sammy, at what cost? Do you know what Metro's shelling out to replace the battery packs? And when you say the packs, do you mean like the whole bank of them? Because golly, that's got to be through the roof.
I don't guess that's something Sammy could get us video on. Those like the battery systems on those, could he?
No, Sammy just got the best deal going. He just they have every year they have what's called markup, where all the technicians bid for the shifts that they want based on seniority. And also the department that you want to work in, because they have lots of departments. They have running repair, where they do most of the regular repair work. They've got heavy repair. They've got an AC shop, paint and body, inspection stuff, and they have electronics. And they have an AC department. So depending on which department you want to work and the shifts that you want, you can bid for that based on seniority. And that just happened this a couple weeks ago. And Sammy now's got a pretty sweet deal going for him. He's back in the department he started years ago, back in the electronics department, where he's working on, all the electronic systems and the subsystems on the buses, fare boxes, stuff like that. So I don't know that he has the same kind of access he had, because he was in the AC shop for years. But now he's doing the electronic stuff. So pretty cool.
That's awesome. Good for him.
Yeah,
I always
really.
like when people have good stuff happen for them. So,
and he's a great guy. I mean, he's the kind of guy where you just like being around him because he makes everything seem better. No matter what's going on. Sammy's here, everything's better. He's just got that kind of presence when he's there in the same place as you are.
well, that's cool.
Wow, and a full replace. Oh my god! On those, so they're replacing the entire battery bank in the bus. What happens when it's out of warranty? I can't even
They
imagine.
throw the bus away.
You throw a bus away.
Right? They would have to. My
The bus got stolen. They just called the insurance company. The bus got stolen.
It got stolen.
Then about every 5 years they drain the lake down enough so they can start fishing cars out of there, and all of a sudden they're going to find like 300 city buses in there. Like, where are these coming from?
They got suspicious when the water levels were rising.
Yeah, like, how the hell's the water getting higher?
How's the water getting higher? I don't know, but we're missing 4 dozen buses. I don't get it. Is there a connection?
Nope. And when you put your feet in the water, it tingles a little bit.
Yeah. Why are all the fish floating at the top?
It's environmental safe. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
we're good.
you're good. It's okay.
Oh.
Just use a little iodine in the water. What?
That just blows me away. Yeah, so I mean, the reality of EVs is not what we were promised. I missed out on an opportunity to chat it up with some guys from a hybrid over-the-road truck company that were leasing space in a garage owned by a shop I serviced, and I should have talked to these guys, and I didn't, and it bums me out today that I didn't, because I would have loved to have gotten their take on what's going on with over-the-road trucks and making those all electric, and what kinds of challenges those guys are up against, because they've got to be huge challenges for that. Don't put your tongue in the water or other things. Man.
Be fun. We go bus fishing later.
Hey, Mark, Brian wants to know if either of us sold any ADAS systems. I have not.
No, I know.
No, those are big ticket items. Those are 30,000 plus. Not too many shops are going to be buying them. The only shop I knew that would have said he didn't want to, because he could picture there being a tremendous liability to him for doing that and certifying something. If something went wrong, he would be liable.
There's a shop down the road from me.
I have one shop that bought a system. He didn't buy it from me, but he went directly to, Altel?
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah, they do make one. They make a whole system.
You might have got it from Altel, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never sold any, though. That's all right.
Yeah.
I'll be okay. I'll survive. Not using one.
I don't even know if I know a shop that has one.
Yeah, I only have one shop.
I think there's a body shop between my shop in town that's got one.
Well, boys, we're at the 2.5 hour mark.
Time to kick us out.
We're at the 2.5 hour mark. It's 11:30 Mark time. It's 10:30 Cass and Lindsay time, and the guys on the West Coast are kicking back to saying, but it's still early. It's only 8:30 here.
Okay.
But
like, hey, where are you guys going?
We're just getting started.
The hell if we don't turn.
That's why I always miss Jude. Every time Jude has a live stream, I always miss it.
Yeah,
hey, Jude.
It's 1:30 in the morning. He's going on.
Jude's are kind of late to begin with. He's like, hey, what's going on? You're like, oh man.
I know,
but every time he goes on, what, 10 o'clock his time, 9 o'clock his time?
Yeah.
It's 12 or 1 o'clock here.
Yeah, I haven't even seen him on live lately. Does anyone know if he's been doing them?
I think he did one a while back.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll have to talk to him. We'll just have it's not like we're on the. It's not like we're
on Christmas break
like
I am.
We've just been shitty friends, Lindsay, and not texting him.
I know. I gotta follow up with him.
I mean, like, it's not like we don't have his phone number.
I know.
You can say the same about me. It's not like I'm jumping up and down to reach out to him either. Like, hey, buddy, what's going on? Just checking to make sure you're okay. I hadn't talked to you in a while. Usually it's just when I need something like, hey, we're going on in like 30 minutes. You give your shit together or not?
Brian says he stopped doing them. What? Is that true or is that just a scary rumor? Oh. Oh, he put up a post saying he was stopping.
Oh, yeah, he did. I forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah, but we could talk him into it.
Yeah, talk him into it.
I'm sure he. Well, if something traumatizing happened, I'm sure he'll pop back on. Well, good night, Don. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you. And we'll do this again too. We really need to do it more frequently than once every 6 months.
So this is a good time to ask some questions about these damn. Are we going to do another giveaway series?
I don't have anything planned, but if you want to put something together, we can.
See, I don't want to do like 5 weeks for the prizes. I say we have like you got to be present for 5 weeks to win the prize. You know what I mean?
Make it one big prize.
Yeah, just that. Well,
the problem with that but if you miss the very first one and you don't know about it, then
fuck them. Then go back and watch it. You know what I mean?
You'll have to have the pre-game.
Yes.
The pre-game one, and then you have to have 5 episodes after that.
I've always had good luck. It's just, I thought about this earlier. I was like, how are we gonna draw one? I was like, I know what I'll do is I'll think of like a random number and I'll text to Lindsay, and then whoever gets to that number first, they win the prize. And then we get, then Lindsay can hold his phone and go, look, it was 41. I thought that was a hell of a good idea. It's better than the bucket of doom.
The bucket of doom.
The bucket of doom. So, like for one of the giveaways, I put everything in this bucket and I'm like tossing it around, and so the sticky is coming out of each one of these sticky notes, and they're all like just stuck together. And I was like, shit, I don't know who's winning here. Oh, what does Danson say? Oh, I always had to go easy for a leprechaun to say. Well, I'm not very lucky, so
eat some Lucky Charms. They're magically delicious.
Are you either one of y'all eat cereal?
I haven't had a bowl of cereal in years. Last time I did, I think there were Cheerios. It's whatever my wife bought and we had in the cabinet.
Well, I know that if we're buying cereal in the house, it's probably gonna be Fruity Pebbles, but we don't buy cereal because it just causes problems. I don't know. I don't eat cereal. It's not my thing. I don't like it. The texture is kind of weird.
This is not a new topic, but I'll figure I'll mention it. As people who know me may or may not know, I enjoy cooking a lot, and what has always eluded me is a good at-home bagel recipe, and I just nailed one. So, bagels for breakfast now because I can make.
Do you make the bagel itself?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Do you make the cream cheese? You go milk the cow?
I don't. No, I get all the ingredients to make the food, and then I make the food with those ingredients.
So you're like the middleman.
I'm like the middleman. I get my.
But you're also the
my loose parts from the supplier.
You're also the end user, though.
Yes, the profits go right down the right in my gullet.
What is good food at the racetrack? Hot food. Hot food sells whether it's hot or cold. I can tell you that from coaching football or running a football league. Hot food will outsell anything.
Yeah,
guaranteed. Christian goes, hey, I'm surprised y'all are still live. You're not the only one, bud.
Dancing Alone has a good. Make the bagels. That sounds good. Tell us more. Is there a video? A New York Times bestseller? No, but the bagels got me thinking about some things, and because I do a lot of
start your channel, aren't you?
Yes. Yes. I just
cooking with Lindsay.
Hey, hold on a second. I gotta ask a very serious question at this moment.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna bust your balls yet. Is there room for a taster?
Of course.
Hold on. I'm volunteering my services. You don't have to pay me. You just pay me in food. And you just tell we'll just go how good it is by the sloppiness on my body after because I already look like a 3-year-old when I'm eating. But if it's really good, I mean it is everywhere. So you're like, this is Cass approved right here. I'm like,
Cass, the alternator shit the bed of my truck. Here's a dozen bagels.
What's the name of your channel going to be?
It's going to be called Texas Homespun.
Texas Homespun. Ooh,
yeah,
it's violating. You're really pushing a boundary there. There's another Homespun in the area.
It's a restaurant. It's not,
You're taking their likeness.
No, I'm not.
They're kind of difficult to deal with too.
Well, they can sue me.
They probably can't. They probably don't have enough money.
Oh. I'm surprised they're still in business. But
you know what? That's the conversation for another day. That's cool. I can't wait to see any videos coming up anytime soon.
No, not soon. I just established a channel, so if you see it, it's got no content. but I at least want to grab the name. And
and it might as well be my channel. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna get like some aprons. You know, like your own set of wooden spoons.
no, I wasn't planning on that. But
You're gonna get like a brand. So like when you're making a hamburger, you can stamp Texas Homespun the brand.
actually, I saw videos from a restaurant that does that. They have a brand, and they stamp their hamburger buns when they make a burger.
Nice.
There you go.
So it's going to take me a while because I want to do a completely different kind of format for those videos. So it's going to take me a while to put them together. So don't hold your breath, but you will see some content from them eventually.
I'll be there eating. I promise you. I will.
Brian will send me a Mako brander. Can you give me a Mako branded sandwich maker?
I'm out.
Because I know I got them.
Yeah, I think we lost Mark on that one. We started talking about
That one's got a limit.
I'm out. That's it. Boy, this tastes like shit.
Gordon Ramsay could have made the hamburger. Mark's like, fuck it. Nah, not eating it.
Oh. Yeah. So yeah, we'll do these more often. We'll schedule something maybe once every month or so we're not going 6 months without a live stream. So
yeah, I don't want to be on every Friday. I'm
No.
not gonna lie to you.
it won't be that frequent.
I like doing nothing a lot.
We all need our downtime.
But we stayed right on task tonight. We had absolutely no plan and we stuck to it.
That's right. We were
Right.
nailed it. Knocked it out of the park.
You're like, what do I ask you? I go, I don't really want to talk about tools, and I think we pretty much talked about tools about the first hour and a half, and I'm like, but everything else is open.
Everything else
ask
is open.
Whatever you want.
Hey, and the next time we can bring up movie, video games, 80s music, whatever.
80. Oh.
I'm in.
All right.
I'm back.
All right, Mark.
What's
your favorite metal band of all time?
Well, see, I didn't. When it comes to metal bands, there's metal bands and then there's hair bands.
No. Like, I like Motley Crue, but they're not metal, right?
Exactly. So I'm more of a hair band than I am a metal band. So I never really had a metal band that I liked.
All right. So what's your see? Dancing just nailed a metal band. Just boom.
What's that?
Fired. Dancing just nailed a metal band. Boom. Shot fired. Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath.
There you go. Metal band.
Yeah.
Good job. When it comes to hair bands, Motley Crue's my favorite. Like, hands down.
See, I like Motley Crue, but like right now, I wouldn't go sing them because Vince can't sing.
No. I don't want to. I'm not a live music guy. I don't want to go see live music because it's never. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a radio guy. Play me the shit they engineered. It's kind of like my food. I want all the GMOs I can get. You know what I mean? Like, GMO my music for me, please.
But in the 80s, I mean, I like, just about everything. I was one of them that would listen to everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lindsay's
but rap. I really didn't listen to rap.
Lindsay's listening to fucking Lawrence Welk over here earlier.
He was not a musical genre.
Oh, wait, it's Perry Como's coming up. There he goes. Oh, this song really got some pop to it. He's like,
yeah. Perry Como was good to listen to if you were my mom.
You were listening to it. Like, you're smiling. You're like, oh, I love this shit.
I love good crooners, no doubt about it. But I also really liked. That's why I think Frank Sinatra nailed this awesome mix between being a crooner but having some really good big band sound behind him, and it was that he had a wonderful style because of that.
Brian, don't be talking smack about no operas. I like going to theater. I'm not gonna lie, opera's okay, but I like theater.
Yeah,
there's some of you now. I guarantee you, nobody's like, you're full of shit. I'm like, I'm serious.
Is he serious? We don't know.
Yep.
Yeah.
It kind of. I went with the Afro Man one. So I'll let y'all figure that one out.
All right. Well, we're at the 2:42 mark. Let's wrap it up for the night so we can
I
all.
thought we were leaving like 45 minutes ago.
Well, and then one thing led to another.
That's how I ended up with kid number 2, by the way.
Oh. This time it'll
my
be for
facial
real.
expression, huh?
This time it'll be
this
for
time's
real.
for real.
We'll actually wrap it up. Yeah.
All right.
So I would like to thank everybody for joining us in the chat. It was great to get back at it, see some familiar names, and have some good conversation like we used to. We'll do it again sooner than later so that we can hit on some of these other topics we talked about. Mark, thank you so much for joining us. Great to see you again. Cass, thank you so much. We did this actually a suggestion to Cass when he suggested to me on Tuesday, I think, when I last saw him at the shop. So thank you. Appreciate you and all the time that you spent with us. So Mark, would you like to say goodbye?
Goodbye. That's it. That's all you're getting.
Cass, over to you.
I had a really good jingle, but I'm not going to do it because there's a reason behind it. But everybody stay safe out there. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Great to see you all. We'll do this again probably in a month or so, and I'll post it ahead of time so you can see when it's been scheduled, and we'll do it all again. So thank you all very much. Everyone have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.